Moose, I was just hitting something out here with the flashlight. I was just hitting something out here with the flashlight.
Scoop Module. Hey, everybody, it's the Lord of O.R.D, the Fortean Digital Shaman. You got something staring at you. Something looking right at you.
It's a peeker.
Anyways. Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Interesting video you guys just posted, I guess, Jack. Both of you. Well, actually, it's not the same time because the latest one that Mike posted is raining. That I last saw. So, anyways, you posted that three days ago.
Yeah, me and Moose were out there.
Moose.
The Moose is on the loose. Thank you all for being here tonight. God bless. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day and had a great weekend.
How many are in your crew now?
Well, we just added another addition. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 of us plus MT comes out with us. So that'd be 5 on occasion.
Can you guys see that?
I see it.
Not here, not here. There's 2 dots right here. Anyways, yeah, I checked that out, and that one section in your video.
Yeah, funny thing is I seen them out there, but they were a distance away.
So what do you think that what do you think we saw there?
My guess would be, honest opinion, I don't know.
Fair enough. What do you think, Mike?
Just the high strangeness, as you like to put it. It's hard to say, you know. It's tough without actually seeing it. You know,
something was going on there. There was. I keep getting double messages from the same reason.
Yeah, that was me. I think it's just putting it on multiple platforms. That's what it was telling me. But sorry about that. Everybody sees like 4 messages coming from me for everyone.
Yeah. So starting out with a bang here. So my apologies, everyone. So hey, listen, this is cool. We haven't had a chance to really talk, CameraMan, and for about a year, and so he said, you know, invite me on and let's talk about the things I've learned in the past year. And I'm like looking forward to hearing from a Bigfooter's point of view of what you're learning. You know what I mean? What are the contradictions? What are the confirmations? And what are the new insights? If you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm here to give you my opinion. And it's just my opinion.
Well, you know, plus your experience, and that's a great value. So
learned a lot in the years that I've been doing this. From day one to now, I'll tell you what, a big difference.
So, what is the well, shoot, okay, how do we go about this big difference? Yeah, what is the big difference?
Big difference is
I'm more confused than ever.
I didn't know nothing. I was out there basically a young man walking around in the snow going, what is this? You know, from day one when I found those prints, when I heard it come over there, and I left, and I said, if there is a Bigfoot, there's got to be prints, and I'll be damned. And I walked right by him. Actually, I seen him, but I was more into why something was walking to the tree and disappearing. You know, it walked into a tree. No footsteps going around it, not up it. You know, I was more into that than seeing the print. So
yeah, but that was so say it. I totally got distracted. I'm so sorry. Say that again, and because Mike just informed me that he can't post this stuff, so I'm catching up with it. So tell me once again.
I just want to let you know, Mike, I can't actually pick the messages to show in chat, so I won't be able to do that.
I'm flying through this, folks. I'm sorry. I had no idea. And my gosh, I forgot. It's the cameraman. He's like, Dude, you turned into a celebrity. What the hell happened?
Great people out there. I'm so glad and so thankful for the people that we have.
Absolutely.
It's like the right amount of people, no drama, no. It's a blessing. I feel like everybody's my family.
Look at some old names here. Judy Wheeler. How you doing, Judy Wheeler? Haven't seen that name in a while.
Trapper, what's up, Trapper?
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm just going to go over through there. So anyways, because this is always very difficult for me, gentlemen, to try to follow the chats and actually listen to my guests. So, yeah, we were kind of hoping that MT could have helped out here, but I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what's up, but I can't.
I think you can only do it if you're the co-host.
Okay.
So anyways, you guys are flying through here, so I'm not going to be able to keep with you. So anyways, Jack, just tell me, man, it's like, what are where do we want to go with this? Pick your head here, or your mind here. There's so many avenues to take here. So when you first started, what is the biggest insight you've got? Again, I don't know if you said it, but let's try it again.
The biggest insight, what I've learned.
Yeah.
The most important thing is listening to people around me, people that have experience, and then take it and utilize it out in the field.
Now, are you talking about like fellow researchers, or are you talking about people that are the people who are having encounters?
No, everybody, not just one specific person. But that's the biggest thing I learned. Listen to people,
And what have you got out of that besides maybe more confusion? That's what happens to me.
The right direction on how I want to approach things. When you have a lot of things coming in, a lot of information, you kind of weigh it. You know what I'm saying? And how do you incorporate it? And how do you, like a new area, how are we going to attack this new area? I always get on topo maps, talk about it with the guys. I look at maps, look at areas, is there a water source? How good's a food source? How big is it? Power lines, railroad tracks, ponds, lakes,
Now, I want to ask you a question about that food source thing, okay? And I think you have a good idea where I'm coming from as far as where I'm at when it comes to the things that we're finding in the woods. Food source, how important do you really think that is with what we're dealing with? I mean, do we even really know what that food source is at this point?
No, I think that we can all speculate and get it down to a couple things. Me and Mike has talked about this before. Starting off with the human body. Our teeth are made to eat leaves. We're not meat eaters. By no means. We can't attack animals with our hands and, bite them with our jaw force. They would just kick us off and run away. We can't run and chase them,
Oh, shoot. Does it mean we have to all become vegans now? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying in general. So when you start thinking about a human body, can we run as fast as a deer? Can we, if we didn't have tools, can a human kill a deer with their bare hands,
Well, that begs a lot of questions there, doesn't it? Like, for instance, like who are we actually, and why are we actually here in this place, right? We seem so disconnected in every fashion that you can imagine.
Right.
So like we're like hybrids, like something made us and contrived us to.
Right. So going along with that, if this thing's flesh and blood, it would kind of have the same traits as us, right?
I would say so. It would have to consume its energy from other living beings, whether plants or animals, right?
Right. And then if you go on the other half, then you're talking about something that could jump portals, and that would mean it consumes energy, correct?
It uses energy. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So energy from the trees, so the biggest thing is just trying to figure that area out. I like to try to get a mixture of
Trees.
both good energy,
Now, do you think that when
added
it comes
energy.
comes to like the water source and like power lines and railroad tracks, that is there any way that you think that maybe I don't know if you can even answer this, but I'm going to throw this out there, that the trees are actually feeding off the energy source. I mean, we know from the water it gets the it needs water to survive, but this absorb all this other different forms of energy. And does that make sense? Like even like running water seems to be a good thing to have when you know what I mean. Ponds work too, but but running water just seems more energy that's being generated. So is that tree not only getting like water, but it's getting some kind of electromagnetic energy of some sort that it needs? Does that make sense?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then also when it comes to the connection with these interdimensional beings, if we call them today, what people used to call ghosts, we call them interdimensional beings now, right? Try to sound a little more sophisticated in our day, maybe.
UFO, UAP.
That these spirits, these entities, seem to use the life force of the trees. They're getting at.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this, seeing an area die, where there's no more activity in that area. It seems like the plant life is also dead.
Now, how does a guy like Trapper hear that? He seems more down to earth, maybe not so open-minded in this. I mean, that's not in a negative way. I'm just saying he's more practical way.
Oh no, I mean, it's great to have Trapper along because he has questions. He has,
because he seems to recognize we're chasing ghosts. Come on.
Right. He don't like that part. I believe he knows they exist, and he knows they exist. The Bigfoot, he's had his encounter, but he don't remember having the encounter. You know what I'm saying? It was something that kind of just had his encounter. I witnessed his encounter. Well, I witnessed how he was acting, and we seen this thing, and then he got to go face to face with it, but he don't remember it. But I think that he has a lot of questions that his questions help me try to find the answers to give him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, absolutely does make sense. The more you get into this, the more questions you have. It just continues to compound.
Right.
So that
how do they use trees? Well, I don't know. Let's go find out. Let's see how much power these trees are kicking up. And
you talking about an encounter that's happened in the past year with Trapper?
I think it was like a year and a half ago.
Was it before I knew you that this incident happened? Because I know you. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that. What tell us about that? What to tell us if you don't mind? Go a little more detail because that sounds interesting. Because he had an encounter with what his parents was a Bigfoot, and yet he doesn't remember that. That's just That's just par for course. I want to hear about this.
Yeah, I mean, he was sitting he went down. He seen something, went down into the bushes, kind of, and they got like face to face. I would kind of say not face to face, but face level, bent down.
How close was he? How close was he to this Sasquatch? Or Bigfoot?
That I wouldn't know. Close enough so that he seen its eyes because he turned back around to me and he would start acting strange. He's like, I see it. I see its eyes. Wow, his eyes are so beautiful. Oh my God, his face. And he was just like, turning around, telling me, looking back. And it was like really so, I was like kind of like blown away. Like, really? Like.
But could you not see it? Or did
I couldn't see it?
Because like my second major encounter with a Sasquatch, Bigfoot,
right,
when it manifested, I know it's going to sound crazy, but it manifested literally, but it appeared literally out of a tree in my backyard. And it got really close. And this time I remember the eyes, but they weren't beautiful. For mine, they were just like this almond hazel colored eyes. You know what I mean? They were just didn't seem to have. But the grin was pretty wild. He got a great view of his face. It ruined my little day. It ruined, not just a day, but a long time. Because there 3 days of high strangeness in my ear. But saying that, so you couldn't see it. He saw it. Was it like transparent? Was it like a manifestation like type of thing? Because I don't know how they do it.
I
manifest it like a ghost, and then all of a sudden almost appear like they're absolutely physical. I do, but are they physical? Because you're never close enough to find out if they're physical.
Right. I think it had to. I mean, cloak, if that's the term you want to use. Cloak in, cloak out. I mean, through that night. Prior to that, we were seeing eye shine, and it was really close, and it was kind of like playing a game. Like making us go here, making us go there, and then bam, his encounter.
So it also begs the question if it was an individual, or was it different ones that are popping up, like like a Christmas lights, if you will, or someone switching on a light type of thing. Did you ever ask that question? You're sure it was the same individual? I guess the question is.
No, I didn't ask that question. I was kind of like, man, why not me? You know what I'm saying? Like, man,
you wanted to see it,
right?
Just that part of that whole trickster spirit element that we're dealing with. It's like, it's always gives you. I don't know how do I say this. It gives you something when you're least expected, and it's something that you least expect.
Right. I did get to see a full body one, though. From a distance, I seen a full body one. It showed itself to me enough that I could see the full body.
And did this happen this past year?
Last year, yeah.
What time? What time of the year?
It was beginning of fall.
It's okay.
Me and MT were out, and I seen it up in the trees, sitting there. And this wasn't a little tree.
Up in the trees, right? I love it.
Up in the trees, and it wasn't a little tree. I mean, this tree was from over this ridge. You would have had to go down probably, what did you say, Mike? 75 feet? 100 feet?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Down this ridge, and this tree was at the bottom of the ridge, and it came up, and it was way above our heads.
All right.
And so it's not like it would have been a kid or someone just out there, because there was no way to get up there. But I looked up, and I got it on film. And then for some reason, this always happens. Something happens behind you. You know what I'm saying?
Distract you?
Distract you. Yep. And then when I just turned for the slight second like this, and then because I think in my head, it's just nature to turn with the camera.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, hold on one second.
I probably look like I'm a kid in the candy store. I love this because in my own,
yeah. So then
I'm
I
like
go
revisiting my shit, my stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. And it was gone.
And just like that, it was gone. So up in the trees, was this during the day or night?
This was
it
probably mid-evening, 4 p.m.
So there was daylight still, obviously.
Yeah, it was still daylight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you got...
Don't ask me where it went because I couldn't find it afterwards.
Of course not. It's just like it vanished.
Yeah.
Like it dissolved or disappeared. That's cool, man. So, I can't remember, Mike. Have you seen anything since that last spring with that one head manifesting out of the tree? Have you seen anything similar to that?
No, not since like the that time. I think it was our first visit to the swamp when I seen something up in the tree. I call it Golem.
Yes,
that was like the first image of just what I got out of when I saw its head. Its shape looked kind of like you imagine the Golem creature from Lord of the Rings look like.
No hair type of thing, or maybe just stringy hair.
No, it was it didn't seem to have color to it.
Well, that's
You know,
right.
the light was up in the tree at the same time, and what I saw kind of just illuminated the trees and what I saw, and it kind of didn't have much texture to it or difference in the color of the light. But sure enough, I saw it looking at me, and as quick as I saw it, I don't know, it was strange because it was exactly where I looked.
Uh-huh.
So, and exactly where I looked up at that moment is right when I seen it, and as quick as I seen it, it looked like it recognized that I saw it. Because as soon as I looked, it looked away real quick. But it was very very distinguished.
Would you feel that it was life altering?
Oh yeah, and I had my camera pointed that direction for the most part. I think I may have been looking a little bit different than where I had my camera, but as much as I keep looking back at that section of the video,
Mhm.
I sure cannot make it out. Like I keep looking and I keep looking to see that what I saw, but it's like I can't find it. I can't see it. So
Right.
I'm not sure if there's something to the difference in, because cameras just pick up light, which your eye sees different from what a camera really sees. So
Sure.
there was something to that. I don't doubt it, but that was probably the last time I actually had that I actually seen something,
Right.
something like you'd say a class A encounter.
So back to CameraMan with your Bigfoot sighting, full body one in a tree, man. Did you any detail, or was it dark black?
It was just dark.
Jet black,
It was
blacker than
dark.
black, as I call it, right? Because
The shadow. But
Yeah.
you could tell it was big. Its legs were hanging over the branch. And it was almost like, I'm telling you, man, when I say this, it was almost like it wanted me to see it. Like it kind of like, up here, you want to see me? I'm right here. This is your opportunity.
was there any kind of premonition or any kind of sense? Was there anything you feel before it happened, or did it just happen?
No, it was kind of like I was just, with the camera looking around, and I just went with the camera up. Damn. Like it was telling me, like in my head, like, look up. This is your chance.
It's wild, isn't it? And but you didn't feel anything like static electricity or anything that was in the atmosphere that was different. Okay.
Nope.
Well, it's not real. Gosh darn it. No, I can just see half the people say that. But until you have these experiences, you realize each and every one of us has a tailor-made experience. And the way they design it is, from what I can tell, whatever. It's almost, it's like each thing's a little different to make us bicker and argue and confuse, and to be confused, actually.
Right. And it's all on how your body is going to react to something like that. Not everybody's built the same. We all have different energy. And I've said this before. The energy that your brain makes is different from what your heart makes. It's different from what, other parts of your body make.
Yeah.
So the energy coming off you is all different, So you're going to take things different.
Right. Some of that energy, you could end up with a kid with it.
Yeah.
And all things come along with it. The kid's awesome. This other stuff that doesn't. Anyways, these I find this interesting. So dark shadow, did you see it move? Notice it moving? You said notice it move or not?
I noticed it moving. Yeah, its legs were dangling.
And did you so when I saw the one I saw, it almost appeared like it was emitting
Excuse me.
the shadowy dark, the blacker than black being that looked just like what you would call a Bigfoot, as far as everything that you would think. It's something massive and big, right? But it shimmered like it had energy going through it, like it was like electricity, like it was like every hair on his body was stuck up and moved, right?
Yep.
Did you see anything like that? Did you notice any kind of like any kind of outline on it?
Nope. It dark. You can tell the body, you could tell the legs, you could tell the feet, you could tell the body, the hands, the head. It blocked out the trees, you know, from its limbs hanging. You couldn't see through the limbs. It was just dark.
Cool.
And I take that, you know, because when you're looking up, you know, the sky's you're gonna tweak your eyes a little bit, you know, because it's bright, but it was definitely there. I can 100%, and I said 100% after that, I seen Bigfoot. I knew in my heart that's what it was, and I'll still say it to this day.
Well, you know,
Not a detailed one.
no, well, you know, it's like this is how it goes. So,
Right.
it's the shadowy beings.
Yep.
I know, I've been looking at this image from the video that you had, and it looks to me like there's a hand and an arm coming out of the tree. Want to look at
Sure.
some of those dark, shadowy things that we talk about, right?
Yep.
So this is when was this filmed? I think did I not do that? Anyways, I forgot to put it. I know I have it somewhere. Anyways, so this, if you look at right here, this area right here, you used to think there's nothing there. There's nothing going on. Well, if you blow it up a little bit, and if you think about paws or hands, something grabbing on something, it's like the wrist. And that to me looks like a hand with fingers. Something's blocking this branch right here.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just
Right.
black, and it's not a shadow from the tree in front of it.
Right.
So, and I film this stuff all the time. Once I started realizing, if you start looking for like hands, wrists, you can start finding things that look like hands and wrists that are not branches on a tree. You know what I mean? So I think he caught something there. I don't know. You know, you can't say it was a Bigfoot, but there's a lot of entities. So from my observation, there's like an ecology. There's a whole like diverse smorgasbord of type of entities that we're encountering in the forest. And but you know, naturally, because we've been conditioned to think it's a Bigfoot, right? So it's got to be a Bigfoot.
It could be. Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's what I see. I mean, it's probably hard for you to see, but I can even see the distinction of the fingers myself.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's a good catch. You could definitely see that whatever that is blocking the tree behind it in that branch also.
And so one of the things that goes back to this dark, blacker than black thing. You look for something that's blacker than black. You know what I mean? That's a good.
I also see something else in there too, like 2 or 3 things.
I'm sure you do. 'Cause I see a few things there too. Because I think there's something going on right in here more.
To the right of that, farther.
Going on right here. And then over here this way.
Right. Over a little bit more. Over in there, yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? When you and Trapper were live, I think this was about a year ago, a little bit less. Remember that you guys were by that one big mound, and I caught something watching it while you're
Yeah.
alive. Something ran to the left.
Yeah.
And I clipped that and posted that, and you can see whatever it is moving, like just from the looks of it. If you would see pictures of what somebody would call a grass man, like the shape of a grass man, like the Ohio grass man, real like straggly with a lot of hair, even it sure had that kind of a distinction to it when I saw it moving. And it didn't look like it was very tall, but it was kind of hard to tell for distance. But you could see it. You could see it walking real quick. Just ran to the left.
Yep.
You know, do you guys ever wonder, I always, we got friends that are up there in British Columbia. If you're into Bigfoot, you're going to end up having friends from British Columbia. You know what I mean? It's just going to happen, right? So like JT and talking to him a lot and just talking to other people that are up west. And it seems like what they're having, this thing called Sasquatch, might not be the same thing that we're encountering here. That maybe the Ohio grassman might be a better direction as far as when it comes to this large hominid-like thing I emphasize, because I don't know, if it's a really hominid or not. It just appears like one, I mean, I mean, it sounds bizarre, and I know it's very difficult for a lot of people to accept, but when they just like go through a tree, what are they supposed to do? You know what I mean? I mean, but they still maintain, or at least once they get to the other side, they're, appear to be physical. They have that physical flesh and blood appearance to them. You know what I mean? But it's not. Usually, it's a dark black shadow type thing, or like Mike says, it appears to have like a lot of hair on it.
Right. It was really dark though. I mean, it was distinct, and you could see its limbs moving when it was walking real quick, but it was very dark. Like it was just as dark as like that last photo where you showed the hand reaching, the one that you just showed. It was dark like that. So it was hard to really draw a whole outline of it, but you could see some of the, like if you watched it, paused it, slowed it down, you could see limbs. Like you could tell it was bipedal and it was moving on two legs and it looked like it had arms. Whatever it was, I don't know, but that was one that I haven't thought about that for a while. Now I just remembered that, and that's another really good capture you guys got when you were filming.
Yeah.
They said these images that we find and the experiences we have, they have like a grade to them, if you will. Some are much more memorable and at the very top, you know what I mean, of these encounters. I mean, I don't know how you scale it out or judge it, but I guess each person is different. But there's like certain things that happen that stick to you forever, right? And when it's happening, it's like you're in the moment, you're maybe a little shocked or maybe a little confused, and so there's not like you would think. And then other times when it's really like something happens, it's dramatic and it's like very visceral, you know what I mean, you can feel it type of thing. Something happens, and those seem to be pushed to the side, if that makes sense. It needs to be some kind of subconscious thing that we do, I think, probably something biological that we have no control over anyways. But I just find that interesting because it's like a lot of times, like what I would consider class A1 sightings, they were one was really traumatic, but the other ones were almost like a shock, you know what I mean, just absolute shock that or if that's the word, or just like, it's like, I guess it'd be like, you go out your front porch to have a cigarette and a mountain lion walks across your street. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like it's a memorable moment, but it's not like something that's totally life altering, if that makes any sense.
Right.
But then other times it's like the experience is so intense or so, there's some kind of connection, whether spiritually or energetically, that it's just like, man, I don't even want to remember it again. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Or the body, the mind, subconscious suppresses it. Anyways, I don't know. So back to this thing. So this past year, man, I mean, what are some of the things that you are doing different than you were doing a year ago?
More areas, hitting more areas, reaching out to more people. Working with collaborators this year, starting out now.
So how did you find how did you find moose? I mean, you're like the only people in the state of Ohio that could find a moose in the woods.
That's Trapper's buddy. Trapper knew who he was, and he was very interested in coming out with us. for a while, and he was out with us before about a year or two ago. No, about 2 years ago, he was out with us. Wanted to get back out with us, and this year was the time. Glad that we got him.
So, like you guys, you and Moose were like that video that you posted 3 days ago on YouTube were together, and you guys like found an area with a lot of like tree breaks.
Yeah.
What's up going on? What do you guys think about that? I mean,
There was more than tree breaks. There's that video was probably just the first 100 feet into it. Now, the funny story about that is when we were on our way out, we only had one flashlight each.
Yeah.
And, I was walking, looking all around us because we heard them following us. We knew that they were following us because frogs and stuff were going off, and then they just went dead silent. We heard some rustling around. Then I hit the flashlight, and I seen like a doorway, and that's the beginning of that. I said, "It looks like a doorway,"
I remember that.
where you could stand up, and walk through, like taller than me. And if you look on that video, you can see where the branches were broke out of the way, just that perfect height. And on the side, they were broke perfectly, it didn't want to make sure it didn't rub up against anything. So, when the video cut, we still continue to go back, and wow, breaks. There looked like a nesting area with a doorway, and doorways like down lower to go in, and if you bend down, you can see in there. Not good because it was built purposely. It like drug trees and put big thorn trees, not just little things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like big trees, like it'd take 10 of us to grab and throw up on top of the structure that it made. Pretty amazing.
So he says, why do you think it's a nest? I mean, why do we call it a nest at this point anyways?
I think when I think a nest is what, sticks, birds grab sticks and build, and you know what I'm saying?
Sure. But
bigger concept.
But usually the birds like live in the nest. And
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I could say stick hut.
Or it's just, it's the logic behind it doesn't make any sense what they're doing. So, but you found footprints all around it too, right? Which is a rarity. Yeah. You'd never hear anything of the sort. So at least which is the first time, which is probably, I've been talking about this, and that's probably their way of rubbing it in my face. Here you go. Anyways, but so there's what appears to be footprints, or something was moving around. So would a hunter ever do something like that? Is just like some kind of blind? Would it be practical?
No, they would. There was no. Moose can agree with me on this one. There was no human interaction in that area. Nothing.
No.
And a hunter's not going to. Man, you grab one of these thorn trees, and it's going to hurt you.
So they hawthorns, is that what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So
they're not a small. I'm talking big.
Yeah, they got a lot of thorns on them. That's for sure.
Yeah, the hunter's not gonna. This was.
So here's the other thing too. I was thinking. So all the thorns and all that. Then if there was a hairy bipedal, big sucker, Did any sign of hair anywhere? You would think that thorns would be hair somewhere.
We stayed as long as that we possibly could, and we were both looking. Not enough time there. I've been waiting to go back. Actually, me and MT went back, and we actually came in from the other side. But again, still not enough time. So.
But basically the answer is no, you didn't see any hair, or you didn't find it. So no. I just find that fascinating because if these things are solely flesh and blood like us, and they're covered in their head or toes in hair, that the odds of them not leaving some kind of hair in what you say is a nest of hawthorns,
Right.
that's about slim to none if you think about it, right? I mean,
Right.
it'd be tough for you not to leave some kind of sign, even if they're clothing, right? With thorns,
Right.
you know?
Deer are shedding, right?
Right.
So, I mean, if they're flesh and blood, and you 100% believe that, then yeah, they would be shedding like crazy, right? They're not going to walk around in 80-degree weather, you know. Dogs shed.
Right.
you
Or
know,
just not even shedding, just the fact that the hawthorns would
rip you up. Yeah.
yeah. So what is these things that we're dealing with? That's the question. I mean, really, the more and more I do this, it went from me trying to disprove Bigfoot and it was just a government psyop to, okay, it's the Patterson film must be just flesh and blood. So after all these years, this is like, I don't know what these things are.
No. I get 100%.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
You know,
I have no idea. Even when I hear people go, "Oh, they're 100% flesh and blood creatures," I still go, "How?"
yeah, that's the question. How do they do what they do if they're flesh and blood? I mean, you can, and you know, it's been convenient. You know, they're part of the psyops. I do believe is this Hegelian dialectic nonsense between flesh and blood and woo, right? So first of all, and I see that very much from the flesh and blood camp, they're very dogmatic, religious-like in their fervor, right? That it has to be flesh and blood, and that's it, right? And that's the reason why 6 years since the Patterson film, nobody's got squat, because they're living in the wrong paradigm. That's the problem. And here's the problem. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just like we're just coming to this realization of what our ancestors did always knew. We call them interdimensionals now, but they used to call them spirits.
Right.
And regardless of whether this is a wrong placeholder or not, the fact is there's something that we've known about that's in the woods that behaves very ghost-like at times, and yet at times looks very physical. And it could be pissed off and say, "I don't believe it or not," or "Hey, do what we're doing. You'll find out that we're not making this up."
Right.
You know what I mean? If you go out in the field and start doing it and stop listening to and not letting other people put constraints on you, you know what I mean? This is the way it has to be. You might be very surprised. And the wolf camps too. I mean, it's bad too. It's gone so new age, it's ridiculous. You know,
Right.
and, you know, Sasquatch is our new messiah, our new the new demigod, is going to save us.
Yeah, I'm not the one to say anybody's wrong. When it comes to this, there's no right or wrong answer.
That's the problem, right?
We just don't know.
We just don't know.
We just don't know. But, you know, my goal and MT's goal and Trapper's goal, Moose's goal and T-Mac's goal, we are all wanting to prove this. And finding ways to do this, we'll do it. I mean, going out and testing trees and see how much energy they kick off. You know, what's tones do? You know, does the tones change? Well, we know tones change plants. They'll make them grow good. You know, they heal the body. They do a lot of stuff for us. So, I mean, we've been out testing tones, energy spikes. I mean, looking at areas over and over and over. This isn't a, you know, do this for a couple hours and see you next weekend. You know, this is every day.
Right.
Every day for us. You know, that's how bad we want to figure this out. Not for everybody else out there, for us. And it's nice to have everybody. You know, we each have our own reasons.
Yes, and I understand the whole thing about wanting to try to figure this all out, especially when you have these experiences. You're just like, and you guys are lucky they have each other, because most of us don't have anybody. You know, I mean, outside of having these opportunities to talk about it this way. But you know, I'm pretty much, because my circumstances and the situation, that I've been forced to have to do this by myself, right?
Right.
And that's so I have these experiences, and then I'm like, how do I explain this to people without half the world trying to rip my head off over it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You don't know what you're talking about. And
Yeah, that's one thing that we don't do is listen to outside noise. I always say, I just had to tell somebody this yesterday. They can talk all they want. We'll just keep working. You know what I'm saying? There's no wrong or right to this.
I think that's what happens to people is that because they become so dogmatic about. I see this in religion too. I noticed this when I was real religious too. This whole thing, but it's the same thing. It doesn't matter the religion or whatever. It's this whole tribal camp mentality that our instinctive need to be part of the club, and this stuff will take you away from the club if you do it seriously. There is no club to belong to. I mean, they talk about the club of no return, right? And that's what Mike talks about. But the club is there is no return, and you're going to be it's going to be one hell of a ride, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it, and it's subtle. It's not like it's like, although it dominates us daily in our thoughts and what we want to do, it's the moments, those experiences are not like consistent necessarily every single day type of thing. I mean, you can go a period of time with nothing happening, right? Or, I know that's what happens to me at least. But then again, you guys are doing something a little different. So, and it seems to me you have more consistency in the moments than everyone else. And so, what do you guys think is the key for you to have these more consistent moments? Because it seems like, from my observation, you're having more moments or experiences, and I know that's very obscure or not really. You know what I'm saying when it comes to experiences, because every experience seems to be varied and different. There's no consistency of the experiences, or is there for you guys? Is there consistency in your experiences?
It depends. It really depends, actually. Every time something is, when we go out, it's not like we expect it to happen. We have, we've went into an area, we know there's something going on there, and then we get into the area. So we kind of look for things happening before, like even before we turn on video, or we might just have the video running when we're out, looking at these areas. Then when things start to happen, we turn on the cameras. And that's how usually, but there's areas where we can go to an area and there'll be nothing, I've been to a couple areas where it's just been, action last year. We'll return there to go check them back out. And like I told you the other night, it's like the area's dead. Plant life is dead. There's nothing. It's like quiet. It's strange. Consistency. If we go there a lot, you know what I'm saying? If we go to that same spot.
Well, are there certain things that happen that are consistently happening? Like, is there like
eye shine?
Eye shine? Is that what it is? Is it eye shine? Is that what it is? Would you agree with Mike?
Two spots where we're always getting screams. I think you can, yells, screams.
There's some, like, there's times where it seems like there's some consistency to certain kinds of activity, and to like any extreme difference, they always seem to be short, like the swamp with the rocks. That was consistent, but it was only consistent for a couple of visits, and then that stopped. There were the swamp has been kind of consistent with some, like maybe vocals or things we hear. Like, I think the swamp has been consistent where I have heard what I think are EVPs that I picked up that I didn't hear.
Mm-hmm.
And that came through my audio on my phone. And I think that's been more consistent there than other places. But most places there's little consistencies, but it seems like the extreme things that have happened are like minimal. Like they'll happen and then don't know if it'll ever happen again.
Right. Claim 3, for instance.
Yeah. Claim 3 or the caves.
Yeah.
There's been some interesting activity at the caves that have been consistent. Maybe more energy based kind of interactions with me there that I've noticed. Elevated EMF seems pretty consistent inside the like main cave area we go. Activity, voices, orbs, they seem like that's consistent there.
Right.
And so that's one place that seems to be consistent. But then there's some like I said, the swamp with the rock throwing was like isolated, and that extreme behavior of the rocks was kind of short lived, and not sure if that'll ever happen again. But that's.
I got a rock thrown at me the other night when we were there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, when you guys were live?
Yeah, it landed. It hit right before the swamp started. It hit the ground and went right into the water and splashed.
Oh, real quick on the swamp, the follow-up at the swamp coming up. I think when we were live last time, I was showing some clips there. One of the messages through the necrometer I got, which you'll hear when you see that, it said, "I throw rocks."
It did.
Yeah, it said, "I throw rocks." I'm like, okay. I didn't catch it at the time though. I didn't understand the message right at the time it came out, but once I reviewed it, I heard that, and I was like, wow, that would have been one that I wish I would have caught, so I could have asked, more questions. Maybe I could have got more answers if, maybe next time I go back, I'll ask more answers, see if I get them more messages to answer that, who they are.
Right.
I throw rocks.
We missed something.
Yes, I throw rocks.
Yep. The big thing is what I ask the guys not to do is point things out, dramatic things. I don't want to be that person that pushes Bigfoot or ghosts out on everybody. I want everybody to see what we're seeing, so if you catch it, you catch it. Some things I'll circle on video, and that's where it's a godsend, because I'll miss a lot of things out there, and the community catches it all. I mean, there's nothing that can get by. There's nothing that can get by nobody in the community. And that's a God's given gift to us,
Right.
Thank God for everybody in the community.
So they help point out these things. And then this whole thing, I throw rocks. That's how often would that, what would be the odds of that? I would say what was the other contraption? Not the contraption. What was the other thing you used before the necrometer? Again, what was it called?
Oh, the spirit talker.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what would be the odds that I throw rocks would be in something that would pop out on that?
Right. Unless whatever's communicating is connected to whatever's there. And it seems to be a lot of the messages I get seem to validate the activity we get there. And, it seems intelligent. So that's one of the reasons why I love using it, because that device adds some extra insight as to a way to communicate, and it keeps proving itself that what's coming through is relating to what's going on there. So just getting a message in general is basically impossible for that device to give you an actual message. So when you get one, something is manipulating it. Otherwise, it would never make sense.
All right.
Right. And the funny thing is too, even when we're not.
He froze up. You froze up, Jack. Must have been something important.
Video for, not part of the video. There we go. It will say our names. It'll be like, "Hi, Jack," or "Hi, Mike."
It says Jack a lot. I've had your name come through the necrometer quite a bit at a lot of places, the Pines especially.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Jack. Hi, Jack, and I throw rocks. So what about this then footprints and the consistency of footprints in these areas? Do all these claims present footprints of any kind?
No, I follow a lot of deer trails, and that's where I'll see a lot of the footprints. You know, off to the sides, left or right of deer trails, deer paths.
Uh-huh.
And except, you know, down by the beach me and Mike,
Those were some pretty impressive ones, weren't they?
Yeah, that was probably the most amazing display I've seen of an actual like trail.
Yeah, actually go into the water and not come back out.
Yeah.
And then when I broke out the thermal, you could see the temperature change in the water to where it looks like it was stepping.
Afterwards, or okay.
Yeah.
Like
how fresh were those prints, do you guys think?
You measured them, right?
Fresh.
Oh, how fresh did you say?
Within that day?
That's a good one for trapper. I'm not too good on how fresh they were, but they didn't look like they were very old. Like without much experience, I would say that they couldn't have been more than maybe a couple days old. I
would say sooner than that because of the heat.
Because that's what I'm asking. When you brought that up, I'm thinking, is there was this within a couple hours of you guys? Was this an hour of it maybe happened? You know,
my brain says
10 minutes. You know what I mean?
My brain says within minutes.
Yeah.
Because we heard things run. I heard something run in between us. We heard something go over top of us and hit the trees. And then, you know, I would say within 20 minutes. That's just my guesstimation, though.
Oh, if you
heat signature in the water.
If you get heat signature, that would suggest that it happened, you know, real soon. You know what I mean? Maybe even less than minutes, type of thing. But that's a possibility. And I know that sounds sort of bizarre, but how could that possibly be? You know, we're right there. I mean, there's no way it could have made those footprints while we were there. Or could they? I argue that they could do that right when you're there.
Yeah. You know? Seen a tree, the face in a tree.
Yeah.
Go to touch it and it backed up.
So yeah, what are these things, man? So footprints. So consistently you're finding footprints. Is that what you're saying in all these locations, or not?
Not distinctively great. You know what I'm saying? Where you see toes and, you know, you absolutely know it's a print, but there's disturbance in the ground. Like,
he froze up again. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Like a print.
Yeah. The swamp is one of those places. I think most places we've gone there. Occasionally we catch some that seem like they're relatively newer with actual toe outlines, but we find a lot of spots that look like they're disturbed and have a shape to where they were pressed down at. You're right, especially with like a stick. There's been a lot of them where part of where it looks like there's a print, there's a stick that is by it, and the stick is pressed into the ground as well. So stuff like that looks like something stepped there, but you know, it's on top. There's leaves. You know, leaves are everywhere where we're at. So it's a lot of like mix of leaves being pressed down onto the ground. And I saw like the beach. The beach had just sand, so it's pretty easy to see those versus going through a trail in the woods full of leaves.
Right. So how about tree breaks and snaps and that kind of stuff? How consistent is that in these claims? Is it something that's consistent and something you see?
Recently, the place we were at, that's the one I just dropped the video. I was a trapper and moose, and there were a lot there. That was really noticeable. And I mean, usually breaks, I kind of always try to look around because if there's something laying by it, I try to, you know, eliminate that as probably something fell and hit it. But where we were at for that night, there were a lot that were big breaks, something, you know, a big split or a big break. and there was nothing by it that would have looked like it would have hit it to make it break. So it looked like something had to force it to break it. Don't know what did it. You know, and a lot of imprints on the ground, which in the video I showed that out. There was one real pretty defined one that I found that looked like you could see toes. So there was kind of a mix of evidence around the breaks too. So, you know, from what we gathered, it looked like something was going through there. Why it makes the breaks?
Yeah, that's
Trapper said.
Go ahead.
Trapper said that he found a track at the swamp just the other night when we were there. That was only an hour or two old.
There you go. So any ideas on your end, Trapper? Why did they break these trees? You know, 7, 8, 10 feet up in the air or greater. Why are these tree breaks? What's the point in it? I mean, what's the logic?
I think the ones that I found were like they could have been within a range of something that would have been probably taller than me, but not like really high up. So something, let's just say 6 to 8 feet or so. Maybe it would have just moving stuff out of its way, walking through, moving something out of its way. That looks like that could have been possible because they were not like really high up. They were high up enough that like if I reached up as tall as I could probably grab where it was at. So they weren't like any kind of like extreme height, the ones that I found. So if something was taller than me, you know, but not extremely tall, not like 20 feet or something. If something was just moving through there, I could see maybe it was moving those out of its way to make a path, you know.
It's like swatting.
It's possible. It seems like that could be possible.
Are they grabbing them and hanging on them? I mean, if you guys try to mimic the same thing, because you know when you do I know it's like almost impossible for us to break this stuff swatting them us. You know what I mean? Even smaller things, smaller branches. I mean, it's not that it doesn't happen, but it's like tree twist and breaks require an immense amount of force. In my book, especially a lot of these, especially when we're talking a diameter or bigger of the trunks of these branches and these trees. I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't. Why are they breaking it? Why don't they just? Why is the logic?
To be truthful, I don't really pay attention to them anymore. I mean, if I see them, it kind of is more of a direction thing for me. You know, if I start seeing consistency in the breaks, I'll try to follow that path.
Uh-huh.
I think it's because I don't know why. You know, well, what's the point? Why do they do it? You know,
Right.
Does it lead to somewhere? And that leads me back to saying, if there's consistency in the breaks and I'm following it and it leads to something bigger, you know, that would be cool. But sometimes they just lead to water, stream, you know, an easier
Oh my God.
path, you know, like say you got to cross a part of a bigger stream. Sometimes those breaks will lead you to an easier way to go around. But other than that, I don't really pay attention to them.
See, the thing is, I like they don't see. I don't see them have the need to even worry about the easier way of going.
Right.
They're interesting. You know, when I see them, it's just interesting because
Right.
you find them. The ones that are just interesting to me are the ones that I see that I can't find a source that would have caused the break,
Right.
other than somebody or something grabbing it and pulling it and breaking it, which is just interesting because, you know, it stands out and on its face, it doesn't make sense how it happened. You know, and I mean, the ones that are really noticeable, the ones where like recently, the ones that I seen where there was absolutely nothing around it, no other branches laying on it or by it.
Uh-huh.
It was like bare, just their leaves on the ground, and then a big branch, and the big branch. I mean, it was a big branch, and it was just split down, like something grabbed part of it and just broke it and pulled it down to the ground. And it was probably up about 10 feet, 10 or more feet to where the split occurred. And then that part was pulled down to the ground. Those are the ones that just seem interesting when I notice them, because it doesn't make sense when you find that, and there's no reason you could find to cause it.
No. Well, unless you want to really start thinking outside the box.
Right.
Like there's possibility that the energy that's emitting out of these trees, and if these things are coming out of the trees, it's causing them to break or split or twist.
Right. Like poltergeist kind of thing we talked about with why poltergeist, that poltergeist theory, if something's out in the woods doing things like you call poltergeist activity, could be just doing it, just as something to do, or maybe there's a meaning that we just don't understand behind it.
And then our a lot of,
I used to think maybe
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I used to think that the brakes, the higher up, they just needed, maybe to go into the tree. Does that make more energy? Like if I ripped off my arm, blood flow would go more to this arm,
Yeah, that's very interesting. You said it.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting analogy. So I don't know if anybody understands what we're saying, but I know what I'm trying to say on my end is that the ancestors told us about the trees being, and I keep saying that the trees are like the neurons of this creation, right? And they connect the underworld with the middle world and the upper world, and somehow they use it, and it's either when they manifest out of the trees that you hear the tree knocks and the breaks, or they're going bizarrely, maybe they're going back into the trees, whatever that force is. And we call it spirits, or whatever you want to call it, because we don't have definitive, we don't know what else to call it, right? So we call it that. That's what our ancestors called it, so that's what we're calling it. But these entities, they seem to have a life force of their own, some kind of intelligence, yet they seem to have a strong connection with the trees. And I know that pisses off a lot of people, but until you realize that and start focusing on you're gonna miss the big picture here. So, and okay, tree structures. How's that? What's going on with that stuff? Are you finding anything significant in these areas, or are they more sporadic? Are you finding teepee structures, significant X structures? Is there some kind of meaning, like tree lines, tree lanes? Because I know sometimes in some places I go, I'll notice there'll be like a lining of tree lanes leading somewhere for some reason, right? And of course, it's not always like a magnificent tree structure or anything like that, but it's leading somewhere. There seems to be, and it's not from storm, you know what I mean?
Right.
But they seem to have some kind of directional meaning in some way. I don't know. Like maybe like our ancestors used to do. But have you guys found anything interesting as far as tree structures in any way?
I have a whole area. Trapper knows of this area. MT, I don't think that you do, but I have a whole area that I just been taking and gifting. Me and Trapper went, and this was during the winter, and I came out and there was a lot of TPs, structures, big ones.
Now, well, I call them like pseudo TP structures. There's like the real TP structures. What I say, they're like where they're consistently lined, with tree or branches or tree trunks. You know what I mean? And then there's like pseudo ones which are not fully developed type of things.
These were purposely put there. Almost, man. I want to say there's off the beaten path, and me and MT seen a couple that we have to get back to during the winter. You remember that, MT? Early winter.
Yeah.
2 areas. It almost reminds me like of a human making them, but they're big, you know, and they're so well put together that.
So you say that like, so how big are they? I mean, because it's one thing I noticed about, if it is people doing it, they have to put a lot of time and energy into it, whether it's a group of people or an individual. And there seems to be no signs of all people doing it. I mean, there should be, and we're pretty footprints and stuff like that, human footprints, boot prints, that kind of stuff, shoe prints, and there's nothing. So there's something's building it, but that these ones that are, all the branches are stripped off. Somehow amazingly they find like the straightest of trunks or limbs. I mean, that are like 8, 10, 12 feet tall. You know what I mean? So how are they doing that? Yep. That's the question. And then,
yeah, and these are big. I mean, 20, 30 feet. But, if I want to film it, and I will film it, but I get into this thing in my head. We're showing these people this. How do you present this as this is off the beaten path? You know what I'm saying? Without somebody being, oh, hell no, that's man-made. When it's 70-30 in my head, 70% going, man, this has to be definitely something, Bigfoot, whatever. This is not human-made.
Right. Well, part of the problem we have done in the Bigfoot communities, we've made the assumption, we went along with the narrative instead of questioning it, that those tree structures are being made by Bigfoot, when we have zero evidence that it's made by Bigfoot.
Right.
So, which then begs the question, and it makes me things even more interesting, is that, oh my gosh, there's more than Bigfoot in the woods. There has to be.
Right. Yeah, it's just how to present it on film,
I don't know, until we film one or film them being assembled somehow.
Right.
And by the time AI and CGI is perfected, that's, how would you know it's not, what I mean? It's going to be one of those things. I think I'm saying this, I'm confident it's going to be filmed, but by the time it gets filmed, and what people actually see, they're going to think there's something that Hollywood did it, or some skilled, animators or people that could, can CGI. And then,
right.
Right.
I mean, we could just put it on film and give our thoughts on it and leave it at that.
Just look at it and wonder what the heck it is. That's pretty much what everything comes up usually that we capture.
Right.
Really no definitive way to identify what it is.
So as far as you Tapper, what am I saying? I got this Trapper. Anyways, but I meant to say, cameraman. So these things you said, these tree structures that seem to possibly human made, right? Now, why do we? What gives you the idea that human would do it? In that location where you're finding these things.
I can see nests. Okay, like we talked about nests, just all thrown together. You know what I'm saying? What looks to be a doorway, but when you get to something put together like that and so well put together, you question it. I question it. I go in my head, wow, even though I know these things would have to be intelligent, going in the trees, disappearing. I mean, why and how? What's the purpose for them?
Yeah. Well,
why do they do it? So, is somebody just, even if it's off the beaten path, 2 miles in the middle of the woods, and we've seen some, me and MT have seen some personally. You even my brain draws questions about it. Like, did somebody come out here this far and make this just for a survival video?
Yeah, I mean, when you see something that possibly could have been
survival,
when you see it could have been made by someone. It's hard to say, was it or wasn't it? It's just one of those other possibilities. that it could have been man-made.
Right.
Some anyways.
Then it begs the question: when we say man-made, are we talking flesh and blood? Are we talking spirits
Yeah.
or interdimensional beings? That listen, I just watched, and I'm going to post it too. It's called Dead Bird, I think it's called, and it's a 1963 documentary of something West Guinea, Guinea up there in Indonesia. Anyways, it's this tribe, these tribes, right? They're still, living like a very Aboriginal type of lifestyle, right? Very disconnected from modernity. Although things have changed drastically since then for those poor people. But they, every night, they would not go out universally throughout the whole area. And these two different clans or tribes were warring. Anyways, they're because of the spirits. Then they said, the spirits rule the night in the woods, and they stay in their huts at night. They don't go out for, it's about bad luck and that kind of stuff. Now, at the same token, I just shared something about early American history, in which I can't think of his name either, but a famous preacher type, Puritan type character, like in Boston. I think he's the original mayor or whatever. Anyways, he's in the woods at night. He swears to his God and to Jesus that he's being chased by spirits. He runs into a menstrual hut where these women go when they're having their period. Right? They have like this hut that they all just until it's done. He gets in there, kicks them all out, screaming. There's demons in the trees and in the forest. So, and the more I look into this stuff, it's very subtle, and people are laughing at, about it. Obviously back then they were laughing at that preacher, and they're, but our ancestors took it very seriously. There was something that they called spirits that was in the woods, and they very much discouraged people to go. Their people to go out in the woods or be out at night, because that's the time for the spirits. Now, I mean, I know it's like a tough pill for us to swallow in 2024 with our Western education and our mindsets, but I mean, it seems to the possibility that maybe ancestral spirits might be part of the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've captured enough evidence to show that there is something that is some things or some people or spirits, something communicating with us. And even, CameraMan's even captured entities that have been right there in front of him. So, I mean, I think, just from what we've done so far, at least from what I've done so far, I've shown that there are things there that could be spirits, maybe of our ancestors, maybe is collective consciousness. I even think a little bit could be something like that, but there is something talking to us, communicating with us. I think that we've kind of validated, that is happening and shown it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to throw this in. What the heck's this, gentlemen?
Are we looking at it the right way, or do you got to twist it?
That's from you, Jack. That's on your Facebook page. That's one of your pictures of an entity or some sort that you filmed. It reminds me an awful lot of maybe a prime mantis.
Yeah, you got to zoom in a little bit. It looks small on my screen.
So here's the eye right here. Here's the eye right here. This one's got a prime mantis tips. It's got this big red head, and it goes in. This is its neck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at its eyes. Wow.
You filmed it. You don't. Yeah, apparently, I think he filmed or something.
Yeah.
Camera captures so much that we don't see a lot of the times.
That's why we depend on the community. That's why we say the community does a great, great job, and it's a blessing to have everyone. It's like we are all meant to be together.
So we look at this, and if we can embrace this, and that what we're looking at here is some kind of being, entity that doesn't quite fit what the talking heads and those are pushing certain narratives, right? Which I do believe that's part of the problem at the bare minimum of the Bigfoot community, right? Is they keep on pushing the same images and brainwashing each other. This is what it has to be in the woods. And I'm looking at this, and I've seen things like this and other things like this, and I'm just like, maybe we're just like we're dealing with like a total. What if it's something that does look like an alien that's actually freaking building the teepee structures, and somebody finally has the right place, the right location, right camera, everything, and films it, and he presents it, or she presents it to the rest of the world. Are they going to give the living crap beat out of them because it doesn't fit the official narrative, which the official narrative obviously does not work at all?
Look, it's right by a tree too.
Right.
Yep. Like it's
I'm going to try to find one here in a moment. I want to show you a photo of something I captured in the tree.
So this is why I think it's so important what you guys are doing. I keep saying that you guys are the cutting edge, because you're taking this to what I believe is a more realistic direction. And people don't realize that social engineering really does happen, and none of us are exempt of it. None of us. But if we understand the Hegelian dialect and this whole thing, you get only two choices. And the odds are they're never going to be the right choice. It's kind of like politics, right? You get the right and the left, the Republican, Democrat, blah, blah, blah. And it's the illusion that you're actually even having a choice to begin with. They're steering you on what you're going to select. I mean, they already selected. All you get is A or B. But if C is the right answer, you're still going down the wrong path, right? And that's what's going on clearly when it comes to the Bigfoot community. We're going down the wrong path. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. All you have to do is just be intellectually honest, not worry about if the group's going to throw you under the bus, because they're going to do it anyways, I guarantee you. Even if you conform, they're going to throw you under the bus. So you might as well be honest about going around the right direction. And look at LIB. He's getting an experience. You guys now start having your issues. They are brutals. All get back 2017 and 18. That's the reason why I said screw the Bigfoot community. So, but the thing is, if we want to get honest about stuff, then and if you're filming stuff like that, and I'm filming other things that are more than just a Bigfoot, then we just have to say there's more than just a Bigfoot we're dealing with. If we're honest, right?
Absolutely, there is. You cannot say there's only Bigfoot out in the woods.
Yeah. So you know what? This is going to make. If you think, in long term or more holistically, this makes this a hell of a lot more exciting.
Right.
It might be disappointing, It's just like this, right? When you're a young man, you're out there to find yourself a woman, a chick, right? You focus on that really hot chick that you really want. That's all you think about and fantasize, right? You never get her, but you get another hot chick that's a million times better because it forced you. You got honest and real. You're never going to have that hot chick that everyone else wants. So get another hot chick that no one wants. You know what I'm saying? Or someone else wants it. Go down a different direction. And that's the problem that I'm seeing across the board with the Bigfoot community. All they end up doing, is throwing each other on a bus, accusing each other. Finding every fault you're going to, and it's really easy to do. All you do is just hang out with another person. I guarantee if you hang out with me, if you probably haven't figured it all out already, folks, there's probably a lot of things you don't like about me. You know what I mean?
This is the thing with us. This is when I wanted to show the world this. I think this is going to be drama-free community. I want a space where everybody can come. If non-believers, believers, kids, I want you to be able to sit down and be able to watch this with your family. And the biggest thing is we don't listen to the outside noise. You know what I'm saying? So when you turn off the outside noise and it's not in the community,
it opens up so many doors, and you start to see things for more clearly what they are. You have to let go of the community if you want to know the truth about anything. There's a certain point you realize the groupthink and the indoctrination is like getting in the way of your own personal progress. And if you're, you must move forward.
And that's what I told someone last night. It's just, we don't, where they were like, well, this channel's saying this and that channel's saying this. It's like,
that's because they're not doing anything. They're not really doing the research. They're not following the truth. They're just busy trying to make a name for themselves or be, feel important.
You're talking, we're working.
Let me feel important. I'm so important. Please believe in me. I know everything.
Here's a photo that I wanted to show you. This was with full spectrum. I can't remember where this was. This may have been Beaver Creek. It was either Beaver Creek or the Pines. But anyhow,
I thought that was the swamp.
I don't believe I've taken my full spectrum to the swamp at all yet. I'm gonna have to do that now that I think about it.
So what do you see here, Mike? What is it that you see?
I don't know. It just it looks like some kind of an entity here.
Manifesting? Can you bring it up? Zoom it in, bro. Let's see what you.
It's like an alien.
Point us where the eyes and where the mouth and everything you see, or whatever you see.
Yeah, I see a big head, a little neck.
It looks like head. Yeah, it looks like what would be a head and possibly eyes here. And then I don't know what this is really.
Small body.
Now I don't know if this is somehow partially just coming through the tree. Again, talk about what you captured on the thermal. Something that looked like it possibly was manifesting through the tree in some form.
Hey guys, can you give me 1 second? I'm going to step back real quick.
Yeah,
someone's knocking at the door. I'll be right back.
Hey, do you guys want to take like a 5-minute break and you can come back?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll play some music and that way I can use restroom. How's that?
All right. That sounds good to me.
Let's listen to.
All right, we'll be back in 5.
All right.
Let's listen to the coolest band I've found. Some German band. It's just, oh man.
Ignition
Thank you.
Sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Scoob Moodle. Where am I? Jack. How you down to sing? Scoob Modal. That's a 3-piece band from Germany. They're just tight.
Jam. It was a good jam, man.
Good jam, isn't it? There's a band I wouldn't mind going to see if they ever come to the States. I've been a band that I've had a real desire to see in a long time, but I wouldn't mind seeing them. Anyways, Scoob, I guess that's how I pronounce it. SCHUB. Moodle. Scoob. So, anyways, check them out, man. They're a good band. So, anyways, where were we at when I had to take the dog out?
I just showed that one photo of that weird thing in the tree.
Do you want to go back to that, or are we done with that?
Well, we don't really have to. It's really weird, though. I mean, of all the strange things that I captured with that full spectrum, that was probably one of the weirdest.
So, that's a very interesting. Is that Damien right there? Is that who it is? 3 to 3:30. How's it going, Damien? People call it the witching hour. It's the dark side of the earth where solar protons reverberate around from the light side, and where the entities utilize the residual radiation. Interesting idea. And you know what? There's something to that. I've heard that.
I've heard of the witching hour before. I didn't know much about like the science behind that, but that's interesting. And I haven't really been out like at that time to really film, so might be missing. Might be missing out.
Yeah. Do you guys ever spend any time like that late at night in the woods, or is it usually it's kind of more of a? Because I also heard from like who was it? It was John A. Keel. He did research on the most probable, the highest time to see a UFO is on the 24th of the month, and between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. is the best time to see like a UFO. So maybe that's the same thing that's going on when it comes to having interactions with things in the woods.
Can you go back to that picture real quick?
Oh yeah. Let me bring that back up.
I want to point something out to you.
Yeah,
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Here's my radio voice.
I know you got the voice, man. That's what it is.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
The ladies love the voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have the cameraman, MT Paranormal.
You should hear him on the mics. We'll be leaving wherever we're going. On the walkies are still on, and he'll be signing off.
Now take your arrow and go to the left. Right there. Look at that, and then look at the entity on the tree. Maybe that's a portal.
Right here, or you mean just this coloration?
The blurry spot?
Discoloration right there.
Blow it up. Let's see what we're talking about here.
See the discoloration?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a portal.
The one that I filmed last year, it like made a circle, and the branches and everything looked like they were bent around to make the circle, and then all these things spilled out, in which, some of the best images I filmed were that day of things. Some people call it also a wormhole. Whatever it is, I don't know. I know.
Maybe.
I know that makes me not very popular because people want definitive answers about this stuff. But
here you go. I got another one here for you.
All you can say to that is we're trying, man. Everybody's trying.
Let me see here. Let me share this one with you.
Answers. I think everybody's trying in their own way.
we all have our own limitations. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And even if you had unlimited money, then the personalities. You guys are very fortunate that you have a group of people that get along. So that's all I got to say. It's very difficult to get a group of people to get along about much of anything. And when it comes to this stuff,
I cannot stress to you how much of a blessing it is. The same with the community.
So what's going on here?
The greatest
That's a good
community.
question. just this caught my eye when I reviewed the photos. Like these ones I have here, I'm showing you are just some of the select photos I put aside. I think I've showed these, and I think every one of these I've shown in the videos too. After from that time we were somewhere, I put these photos in the video. But this was one of them here. Just this stood out, and that's one of the things. Like they're using a full spectrum camera, using ultraviolet, but even by itself showed sometimes you can capture anomalies that you otherwise wouldn't see. And sometimes I've noticed some things just stand out, and like that one you seen, that weird alien looking like thing just stood out. This was one that stood out to me as well. I'm not sure what it is. Honestly, I don't even know if this is possibly just something with the background, but it's just something about it just seems out of place. And those are the ones I usually just try to show and document because, they're unusual.
Yeah, I do. One of the things from my is like I have some images, which is not my.
Oh yeah, I've seen so many of yours too. That weird distortion you get is like,
Yes.
what I'm talking about. It looks kind of like there's like a magnetic wave that is
Yeah.
present. Yeah, I've noticed that in some of my photos too. And usually when I capture that weird, like I call it, like it looks like some kind of magnetic distortion in the air. When I've seen that, usually there's weird anomalies that follow it somewhere in it.
Yeah,
And
that's just
I
like
don't know
for
how to
me too,
explain
like
it.
to be like the image that I take, and it's perfectly clear. You can see the leaves. There's nuts. It's in the right focus and everything, but there'll be this one spot. It's just one spot, and it will be dark and it'll be blurry. And if you focus in it, you'll see that there's something trying to manifest.
Something here possibly too. Yeah, these are in the daytime. All the ones I've shown so far were in the daytime. That's one of the things too when using like these filters. The more light helps capture some, unless you have a really good like nighttime or like a good spotlight with ultraviolet. And to get that much ultraviolet in the complete darkness is difficult to do. But if you take them during the daytime, a lot of light helps bring them out. So from just taking some photos from time to time, the daytime is always when it seems like you can see these the best. But yeah, there's something here too, something odd looking right here.
Yeah, looks like it has two eyes.
Well, yeah, that's one thing that I brought up too is what a lot of times you'll see these things. They almost seem like they're clinging to the tree. There'll be like this bulge. It doesn't look natural, and I think you, Mike, you and I, we did a show about that. We're talking about that a little bit, right? And we're showing a couple of images how these entities they literally almost seem to be popping out of the trees or holding on to the trees. Almost like their arms are wrapped around it, the legs are wrapped around it, and it's just and you never see it with your naked eye, but because these digital cameras we have now, we can.
I got one for you if you remember this. Let's see.
Let me stop sharing this. Go ahead. Well, if you take a moment, I'll show this one real quick. This is one I have pulled up here. Here you go. I'll show you this one.
Do I need to add you again, or?
Yeah, there you go. This one was really interesting. This was that's the farthest back. This was the actual picture from the distance I took it. If I zoom in, you could see something here. And if you get even closer, it almost looks like there is a head, even a face right here.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see
like
it.
It's taking up a majority of this area, though.
Any word on the hair?
Let me go ahead and stop this. Go ahead, Jack.
So yeah, are you guys doing any kind of like DNA testing or anything that kind of stuff? Or you guys something you needed? Or is that
I have the DNA test back from the hair that we sent out.
I heard you talking about it on the live stream.
And what were the results?
We'll let everybody know tomorrow.
Oh,
The big reveal or partial.
The big
We'll have to wait and see.
reveal. What do you think this is?
Yeah, man, this is why, like, West Branch is something special, man. West Branch is something special.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
can I see what? Which part? You
What
talking?
is this?
Yeah.
You talking about the entity with the arms and the head and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that as clear as day.
Yeah, look right here too. Right in the middle.
Wow.
Now, the-
Eyes.
which
Looks like there's more to it than just the
Yeah.
kind of an outline of something solid, which the shape of it's very odd.
yeah, a lot of these entities, it's almost like there's like an orb, like or a light that's attached to them. It could either be the head, or it could be in their chest, or it could be in their hand. It's just like it's almost like
Yeah, it almost like it has ears right here, right where I'm pointing to.
Yeah.
so.
Strange.
I mean, it's first glance, everyone's I don't know everyone, but a lot of people say it's a Bigfoot, but I don't know if there's a Bigfoot. But it is. It looks clearly like it's humanoid, like, or it's got 2 arms and 2 legs and a head and a body, so it's some kind of entity. The thing is that the more and more I do this, the more I realize there's more than just Bigfoot. There's these hooded people. There's the dwarfs, and there's these things. I know it sounds really bizarre, but I film once in a while things that look like they have helmets on their heads. All right,
Right.
and but it's hard. It's hard for people to accept. I understand, because it's going contrary to everything that we've been told and taught, and plus the fact that it does. It looks like someone in a spacesuit. It's very good. Yeah. With the way the head is and all the energy just being emitted off the head, what appears to be the head.
Yeah. Yeah. What it is, don't know, but we got so many like that.
Yeah, and over there in West Branch, that's where I seen that's the first time I ever seen something that looked like I'm guessing from, because I had a sighting of something there, and I saw those thermals after I reached out to you. That was when we first started talking, and when I seen those thermals, I really, because that's pretty close to the same area where I had the sighting at, and I feel like whatever it is I seen most likely was whatever are in those thermals, because the size, moving on 2 legs, I think that it was one of those things in a physical form.
Yeah.
But you can see those other thermals. Doesn't look like that's the only form it takes. Looks like it
So I
takes
got a
other
question
forms.
for you, Mike.
What's that?
O.R.D.
Yes, sir.
You've seen a lot of our evidence.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own thing, so it's probably like you, and it's like you see a little bit of my stuff, and I see a little bit of your stuff. But it's like we're busy doing our thing, so it's not like I can watch everything that you do. You know what I mean? But from what I've seen,
Would you be able to say that we definitely are running into something out there?
well, emphatically, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's the easiest question they ever gave me.
Well, it's just nice to confirm it. Because
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. I mean, clearly there's this eye shine business that's clearly been going on. The footprint things is pretty interesting, and once in a while your eyes are actually filming stuff. I mean, like I said, I haven't gone back in the files, but from last year show we were going to do, that you guys filmed, like it looks to me like a giant Indian. I mean, it's a huge entity, and it's and so that's what I'm saying is there's a lot more going on in these than the woods. And then if they seem to look like, giant First Nation people or indigenous people, or like human beings, then we're dealing with something that's even much more bizarre than we maybe want to admit, and that is there at least a residue memory of who we are in the past? Are we able to come back in the past? Are the ancestors right about this whole thing? And this is something that's fascinating about what you guys are doing for my research, because the ancestors did say that the spirits rule the night in the woods. And you're going in the woods at night in the dark, and you're filming things that arguably, as time goes on, or people are going to have to say, well, at some point, at least blurt out begrudgingly, spirits. And that's not Nephilim. No, it's not. I don't know. I mean, it's not even close to it. But that's my old friend, and may rest in peace, Scott Carpenter, got wrong. So not everyone has everything right. So no, I don't think you guys. I mean, I think there are clearly, just like in any creation, there's the good and bad. There's the beautiful, the good, bad, and the ugly. So that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? And it's clearly happening as well in the other realms, other dimensions. So yeah, I mean, you guys, I mean, something's breaking these trees now. Something's snapping these branches. All right. I mean, something's
throwing the rocks.
Something's throwing the rocks.
Yep.
Something's making the screams. Something's making the noises. You know what I mean? At some point, yeah, you have to say. But the thing is, I would argue strongly against everyone just jumping in the bandwagon and saying it's Bigfoot. I think that's being very irresponsible and presumptuous on our part. And I'm not saying that Bigfoot's not part of the equation. I'm just saying evidence has started to mount. It's just that Bigfoot is part of the equation. It is not the equation. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Am I, from your experience of the past year?
I agree with that. I agree. Yeah. It's just, now it's just, it's still either, there's people out there that say this is a flesh and blood creature only. There's people that say, this is something that pops in and out of portals from another dimension. Let's, the goal is to try to prove which side of the fence is right, Yeah,
absolutely. Or, it's a combination of maybe neither, all sides are wrong. That's the thing. That's the other thing.
Right.
And, maybe we need to go down a completely different direction. Technology. So you guys, how much energy, time you've been putting into like the infrared and the thermal stuff? And I know you do a lot of the night vision stuff, or not night vision. I mean, what setting are you guys using at night anyways? Do you have like my P900 has like a night vision, or are you just doing standard with a light?
No, well, we have night vision.
Yeah, I have a thermal cam that I can plug into my phone, and it'll give me like 8 different thermal different views or visions, different kinds of heat colorations.
Excuse me.
And I've done several videos where the whole video or part of the video I did in that thermal view, just for more ways to capture evidence to see if they're, if we can capture thermal views of actual entities, or even anomalies like orbs or anything that, can put off heat that we can capture. And even a safety sense too. If somebody's out there walking, if you hear something, that's one of the reasons why I always like having a thermal, because like that night with the rocks at Trapper, I had my thermal camera immediately. I'm looking around where it seemed like the rock came from, because I'm looking to see if somebody's there, because it's good to know that if something happens, or if you're hearing something, that if there are people around, or even if you hear something could be an animal, the thermal is going to show you. So it does, it works in a lot of ways that are useful for us.
Right.
Which Michael is that? Somebody asked this question. Michael, have you ever heard of Reddit or seen one?
A Reddit. Other than the social media thing, I've never really heard of a Reddit other than, that.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that.
What, Reddit?
Someone asked me that before too, and then sent me a picture of one. They look strange.
A Reddit?
Mhm.
I'm going to have to check it out because, sometimes some of those
So give us a description of what a Reddit is, if you remember.
I don't remember. It was probably a year ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dogwing Confessions and Sasquatch Confessions. They filmed something yesterday, a very dark, shadowy, blacker than black figure, and it moves. I don't know if they're posted yet. So, but just Reddit on social media. Well, yeah, everyone knows that. That's really the best with first thing ever. But there's some kind of creature. But you said what's again? What did it look like? You remember?
It's white, long legs, and it crawls just like you said.
Jack, do you remember when we went to that one area where my one friend reached out to us because of all the unusual things or the things that the kids seen at the campfire?
Yeah.
Remember the picture that he drew? The boy,
Yep.
He drew a picture of what he's seen. And that looked like some kind of something lower that crawled that had a lot of legs.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty
Yeah, that could
interesting.
be it. Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of. I mean, I film things that look like dwarfs and things that look like rakes and things that look like Skeletor and all sorts of human beings. One of the things, I mean, there's a lot of hooded people. So, and I know it sounds crazy, but I think if you guys, try to do at least what I do, I think you soon find that it's not. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it actually is happening. There's these things that we call entities or spirits or interdimensional beings are they're real. And so I think that's one of the bizarre things about Bigfoot research that I'm observing. Those who are serious about it, they can't help but run into this.
Right.
You can't help it.
Right.
And then you have to make a decision. Are you going to go for the truth? Or are you going to be part of the team and suppress a lot of the evidence that we're finding, right? Are you going to please Jeff Milgram, or are you going to please yourself? That's what it comes down to. And it takes a lot to do that. You know what I mean? It really does. You will be ostracized by.
Yeah. You get to see what we get to see. We're not gonna cram Bigfoot, and we're not gonna cram there it is, and that's what it is. We're not here to do that. You get to see what we see, and hopefully, if we don't understand it, everyone can help us understand what it is, and vice versa.
So how often do you guys hear chatter, voices, or screaming at you? Is that on a consistent basis when you're out there, or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's consistent.
So which ones is most consistent? Voices?
And I mean, it seems like
It's up to you.
there's an ever evolving like new kind of weird vocal that I hear, and even things that just seem so out of place, like weird sounds, like something twirling, or just sounds that are very strange that don't really make sense to where you're at.
Right.
Like at the swamp. First time I ever heard what kind of resembled like some kind of a bark, like that was something I heard, and that was captured on the video. And I've never heard something like that mimicked that, but it was really close. Like I turned around and I thought something was coming at me. Like
This is how
very strange.
they almost either somehow projected, put it in our brains, or somehow it's like there's something. It's there, but it's not. It's like it's projected. It's like it's directed at us.
Right, and it seems like it changes. There aren't too many vocals that always sound the same. There just seems like there's a lot of unusual, different kinds of vocals that we hear sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of planes. I had a plane following me. And I think I know where it came from. They're definitely following me.
I was thinking of the rake too, Michelle. But anyways, you know, who knows? There's so many different things, and that's the thing. We just kind of lump everything into one placeholder. You know what I mean? It's all Sasquatch. It's all rake. It's all dogmen. And then you start doing this thing, you start realizing, well, could be a dog man, but it's got some features that are different than what everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
So maybe
Not
we're doing some.
Not everything out in the forest is Bigfoot.
Yep.
No, and how much of it actually being properly labeled cryptids? That's another question. You know what I mean? And I know that this is, we all have our sacred cows, and we all want to believe in what we want to believe in. But then there's belief, and then there's knowing, and the knowledge that we're gathering is that we're dealing with multiple entities, and that's what we're dealing with at the first stage. Stage of all this.
From some of the proof like that you captured at West Branch, it definitely seems like there's something that is capable of changing shape, transforming from one form to another. So, you know, different things that people see in different forms seem, you know, very. I mean, CameraMan's captured it. You know, there could be many different things that are seen. They might not exist completely in the form you see them.
All right.
They might come from a different kind of energy form and actually take on a different kind of an entity shape. So I never like dismiss anybody's claims of seeing a spider person walking, or a dog man, or a big dog, or something that looks like Bigfoot.
Or three-headed angel, or gargoyle.
Right.
Or
Right. It just seems like, you know, that's why it's hard to try to even say that what we're seeing is this or is that, because, you know, it seems like it resembles one thing and then it resembles something else.
And how much of it's our own biases, right? And what we've been conditioned to think.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of these apparitions of Mary that people have seen, and they're filmed. And you look at it and you're like, yeah, there's something white, and it almost looks like it might have arms or wings. But I don't know how you know that's Mary. I don't know in a million years how you know that was Mary. But you know what? Millions of people swear that those apparitions are Mary.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible it could take on a very specific form. You know, something could take on a very specific form, and that could be because of, you talk about the poltergeist and how they'll want to take on a certain form to, maybe it knows what you're afraid of, or it knows what you're expecting to see. You know, maybe it'll take on a certain form because it knows you want to see that. You know, that's why I said I never dismiss anything that somebody says they've seen in whatever form it is, because I think it's very well, you know, it's possible.
And what about the possibility that they've seen a lot more but didn't realize because it didn't fit their prejudices, their biases, our biases, you know, what we've been indoctrinated to believe in. You know, so maybe we're filming things that look so bizarre or against that we just can't register right now, you know, because we just don't have reference for it. So
yeah, that's why we try to every claim. You know, we go to every claim.
Diesel says raw video and pics don't lie.
Right. Especially if they're live on YouTube.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, the originals that go up on YouTube, you can't edit those. If you happen to capture something while you're live streaming on YouTube, you know, that's unedited video to watch.
Right. So yeah, you know, so we've got all these signs. So what's driving us? What is driving the three of us? What at this point? Have you thought about that? I mean, you guys put a lot of time into it. I have as well. You put a lot more time on the ground than I have this past year. That's for sure. but most people have. You know, I mean, I haven't seriously done anything as far as research since May 15th after I filmed what I filmed. And I like needed to seriously process what I'm doing here once again. But then I started filming the stuff, you know, in the sky and the fall and all that. But the orbs I'm filming and the ecto mist and ectoplasts and that kind of stuff. But anyways, it's like, what, you know, I know this, like, what is driving us? That's the question. What is driving you guys? Because it's
There's
like
something more.
yeah, but it's like, let's be honest. I mean, we're going down a road that's just going to become very, I mean, you know, we'll have, you know, a few people that will understand what we're doing, but for the most part, people are going to push back hard on you, and that, you know, you're going to go down this. You guys are fortunate you have each other, because hopefully you can last long enough. I mean, you don't end up, you know hating each other.
I think what's driving me is that I think there's some connection that I'm kind of onto that's drawing me closer and kind of pulling me in, and I can feel it. And I think that the more I keep doing this, the more I start to grow with that connection, whatever it is that I'm supposed to hear or see or become part of. Is like it's like slowly building towards what I think is kind of waiting. So I just keep doing it the way that, you know, I feel I want to do it, which I do it because, you know, I want to document it and let everybody see what I see, hear what I hear. And I think it's, you know, that's the path that's kind of drawing me, keeping me going.
Yeah, I just think we're just so close, you know. I just think, man, a couple more. In my head, I go, man, a couple more things that we do right, we're gonna have that encounter. I just believe that we're so close. I mean, we've always done it our way, you know. And
there's a lot drawn towards you too.
Yeah,
towards you specifically.
I believe that doing it our way, not changing, and growing and understanding these things, that we're on the right path. And I just feel that it's just so close, and that's what keeps me going. Is like we're gonna get an encounter.
Right. There's so much going on here. You know, it's like the motives. The motives just to come to know the truth. Is that what it is? We want, like Tamara says, we all want truth. Proof.
Right.
Excuse me.
Right. It just can't be.
What if that proof, Tamara, is that everything that we've been pursuing is we're going down the wrong path? Are you willing to accept that? Are you willing to let go of your cherished beliefs to go to something deeper? You know,
or let them go.
You have to, don't you? If you're going to
you have to.
You just have to say, you know what? I can end up being one of the dudes and one of the guys, or I can go for the truth.
Right.
And I really don't want to be one of the dudes. I'd rather find the truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I've been tired all my life living one fictional existence after another. Right.
I don't need to fit in. I don't need to, you know, that's not what I'm looking for. I just want everybody to have the truth. I want to have the truth.
Yeah. So that's just the interesting. So what do you think you guys are going to do this year is going to be different from last year? What are some things, because as far as technology and that goes?
I think that reaching out and getting people to help sponsor us and collaborate with us is going to give us the tools that we need.
Like maybe electrical engineer, physics engineer, or
ground penetrating radar. No, this company's reaching out, and us reaching out to companies, and these companies see what we're doing. They like what we're doing, and they're saying this piece of equipment right here could help you. This is what you're looking for. use it.
Yeah.
So if it helps, I think that's awesome.
You think about like trying to find like these, everyone talks about Skinwalker Ranch, blah 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 blah. Anyways, there's so many more Skinwalker ranches out there, people. There's tons of them. So, anyways, but doing the same thing, the Skinwalker Ranch kind of strategy with money, with with people with science, I shouldn't say real scientists because that's not the fair thing to us. But what they're saying is that there's people with the degrees and the information and the papers and diplomas to help take it to the next level. I mean, is there a possibility in the future for you guys to have something like that? Do you have run into anybody like that yet? As far as professionals, like professional scientists, one way. Have you run into anything yet?
Not yet. Professional scientists? No.
Right. Don't feel bad about it because most of us don't, right? They don't want anything to do with this. So the vast majority don't want anything to do with it.
I think for the most part, we have to try to dig into that ourselves as much as we can, not necessarily get to the same level, because, I mean, it sure would be great if we have someone who, has such experience and knowledge with certain scientific aspects. That would be great to have.
Right.
But I think for the most part, if we want to, dig in deeper that way, we pretty much have to do our own research and try to understand some things, at least to the level that we can, to help.
Is there a site you guys have yet, or thinking about, where you can put some of that, if you can raise the money, the technology into it, like certain types of cameras, certain kind of sensors, something that you feel like you feel confident in maybe getting some kind of hits if you had something there that was 24/7 mechanical. Does that make sense? Is there a site out there yet?
So, something like what are you talking about? Like streaming 24 hours, like putting a site out?
Yeah, why not? It's not for the rest of the people, but for your research. It's something like maybe it's trail cams of some sort or another. Something that, in other words, you could find. There's an area, there's consistent activity, and it would be really worth your time to attempt to have. I mean, trail cameras might not even be the answer. I know there's a lot of people that are used to this tech now. Not a lot of people. I know a couple of people too. MK Davis, that what they do is you use a camera, back then it would be a VHS camera, but we have digital now, and it'd be like a mirror or something's in front of it, right? That somehow that tricks to some of these things that we call Bigfoot or another, and it's they go in the wrong direction or are just showing up. So something like that, where you had a site where there's activity, you consistently find footprints, there's signs of activity of one thing or another, whether it's Bigfoot or not, and it's time to actually invest in some kind of sensors that are permanent there, that you can maybe, pick up the smart cards every week or whatever and see what's going on.
Yeah, we have trail cams out, but for cameras, I mean, we all seen what happened at Claim 3 to my camera, and I'll tell you, I don't have money for just to leave a good camera out. If I had multiple cameras that were like, okay, if it gets broke, it gets broke, that'd be great. But trail cams, yeah, we have trail cams out. Like Trapper had all of his stolen.
Really?
Like trying to replace them.
Is that because of his own business or because of what you guys are doing?
Well, somebody just came up and took them.
And a site and a claim you guys are working on?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. Didn't that happen to Steve as well? I think that happened to him as well last year.
Yeah.
So that's something that there's active people involved in those. There's people and still active in those woods, right? Or active enough.
Don't know if it was people or
something else. Non-human. Okay.
I mean, I could definitely see the usefulness of like maybe having a constant running like security cam or something in some areas. I could definitely see how that would be useful.
Right.
But I put more focus into the personal interaction in the areas when we're there and filming at the time. That's kind of, it's pretty much what my focus always is, but that's something to think about possibly doing. I know, like you
I
said,
have to mute, gentlemen. I have to mute myself for about a minute or two. Will you continue the conversation? I'm still listening. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. At 3, we have cameras. At 3, there's a camera always running out of his back window. And then every so often I'll go pick up the card. Other than that, I wish we had a company that'd be like, here you go, here's some cameras. And, if they get stolen or crushed or.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a process to do, right? It's always a process because we're not on scene to where we could tap in and watch them 24/7.
Right.
I mean, Wi-Fi only goes so far, and Bluetooth,
Right.
You got to be hardwired for constant surveillance like that.
Yeah, unless they would be on satellite, where we could stream from satellite service. That would be pretty good. But again, that takes lots of money.
Yeah. It seems like it would be useful to do. How practical it is just something that we have to keep in mind.
Right. But I think we're going down the right road of having companies collaborate with us and sponsors. That'd be great. And we're down the right road.
Yep.
SoCal, hello. Well, thank you all for being here tonight.
Yes.
It's been awesome.
Chat's been going crazy all night. I'm not in the same status, so I'm not able to work the chat like I normally can. And for some reason, I keep whenever I post a comment, it quadruples every comment I put in chat. So I haven't been trying to type much because it takes up the whole chat.
Well, how many channels do you got?
One.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean,
So this whole idea. So you guys feel like you're going down the right direction. I mean, what is maybe your top 5 bits of information or experiences you've had in the past year? I know we've already covered a few of those, but let's just go over this again so we have some idea of what's motivating you guys to keep hanging out in the woods, which is really cool. I think everyone should do it. You know what I mean? It reminds me of my youth, and it was one of the best parts of my life. But now that you have this kind of camaraderie and this experience, what are the top 5 group-wise would you guys consider bits of evidence or experiences you've had that motivate you? Does that make sense?
yeah. I'll let Jack go last on that. You could save the best for last for your top. I probably have to say West Branch. Just the variety of encounters there since I started. That's the place that I always got an early kind of interest in because I was always hearing not just EVPs, but I've actually heard two occasions I heard a disembodied voice of some kind call out to me, which definitely was something strange because you could tell by the sound of it, it was not a person calling. It had a weird subsonic, generic way to put it sound. That whatever the entity was that I seen there, the spirit communication, whatever the angry person I talked to at the old Elliott Cemetery, the angry guy is there and he's always vulgar and vocal. It's just such an interesting place, West Branch. And then, like the thermals, West Branch is just, just the experiences there keep me, trying to get closer to something. The swamp, the rock throwing, that kind of activity just kind of keeps drawing me in to try to understand why it happens. Claim 3, because of the whatever entities there, or maybe more than one. There's just a curiosity to that place to try to understand why it's there, and will it ever go away, or what is it? Where else? I would say, of course, Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek has been pretty amazing. The locks, the interaction, the voices, the messages I get from Beaver Creek are pretty amazing. Just everywhere in general, the Spirit Talker is always, pretty amazing for me. And lately, I'd probably say that this is a tough one. Claim 6 has been very interesting so far, and just inside, outside. Poltergeist activity haunting inside, very unusual activity even outside. So just kind of like the experiences from all those kind of keep me wanting to go get closer to this connection to see if I can understand what's going on, what's out there.
Yeah.
So many questions just in that.
Yeah.
Diesel says, wonder what binds these spirits to certain areas for so long.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Good question. Yeah, I would say for me would be Claim 6 right now. Claim 3, the Pines, even though I'm like, ugh, but there's so much activity at the Pines. Yep. The Swamp, and Bird Haven.
That's the place I have to go. Still have to check it out. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah,
Bird Haven. Huh?
Bird Haven.
So, is there a certain
like that place either? But a lot of activity. I feel Bird Haven. I feel really threatened there.
You said you feel really threatened there?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you about the vibes of these places. Is there distinctive vibes in these places that you go? Does one feel more ominous, or does one feel more chilled, or what? I mean, can you tell a difference? And also energetically, is it like something that you might possibly be able to measure with some of the devices that you have to see if, when there's, what kind of EMF is being emitted when you're having the negative vibe and when you're having the positive vibe, that kind of thing. Have you thought about that?
Bird Haven, like I'll bring that up since I said I feel really threatened there. Strange. Animals at night are just going off, and then they'll just be quiet. It's almost like a mocking, but it's almost like a haunted house mocking. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy's really bad. Things just happen, and it's aggressively happen, like meanly happening, like angry, just angry screams, angry tree knocks, the mocking, the following, the throwing of things. And what really got me was the thermal that we got there. Looked up on a hill, and there wasn't just one thing standing there moving. You can watch it move on the thermal. There was many things coming out of the tree, standing there, going like this, moving like this. One swaying its arms back and forth, just in one spot. One just, like this. One pacing around. It was almost like, I dare you. I dare you. That kind of feeling.
It makes you think, or going back to what I talked about our ancestors, and talk about the those people from Guinea, West something Guinea. I can't remember it. Anyways, I just watched the thing. It talks about them rich history to the spirits rule the night and they rule the forest. Is there a possibility that we might be threatening them by being there at night in the forest? That they feel more threatened towards us than it's more posturing than anything else, right?
Yeah. I mean, just history shows us this. You got a clock on your wall that tells you it's this time, lock your doors, turn on your lights. It's time for you to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Everything tells you to go inside. Just history does. Our nighttime, our body functions. And then what plays at night is supposed to be there. We're not supposed to be there. We got to light fires and turn on lights so we know what's coming at us at night. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Everything points to us. Time tells us, go inside,
Just naturally, we're not meant to really be roaming at night because we can't
Right.
see.
Where's that? So I want to. You guys film that video that you made with Moose? Do you know about the red light? Is there a red light there? Is there a tower, or is there a like where the train tracks are? Is there like a?
There could be. I didn't see one. Wasn't paying attention though. I was so enamored just with the area.
See if I can find this. Red eye shine. Is this slow enough? I'm sorry for jumping all over the place, but just trying to cover as much things as we can in the limited time we got. So, check this out. Let's see if we can get this going here. Present. That's what I need to do. Silly. So here you go. This is about 40 minutes and 13 seconds. There's a red, like something red, and then it shows up, and then just like flips on, flips off.
Well, that's pointing down at the ground.
That's right there.
Yeah, that's on the ground.
Let's try that again. What the heck? Hey! Sorry,
That's
guys.
on the ground though. So that's not even in the air. It's on the ground.
All right. Is it in the ground? Well, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this again. So you're looking here at the ground. What is there?
Yep. Now look at that tree. Yeah, that's pointing down at the ground.
And then
Or not on the ground, but in the distance.
right there.
lower.
That thing's it, like. You see how that just like.
Yeah, it looks like
up?
it turns and looks.
Just shows up. Did you notice that before?
No, I didn't notice that. It looked like it turned and looked. So that's off in a distance. Like, see, you can see where the ground is, where the flashlight. Oh, that's weird.
Where did it go? All right.
Go back a little bit more.
Oh, there's still something still showing up here. That's what's going on. Okay, there's a couple things. So is that a star right there?
I don't know. That I couldn't tell you. Unless I was there. Possibly. I don't know.
See if you could see it without light on it.
So there, we'll see. Maybe we can get back to that. Is that the same? Oh, the red light. That's what it's 30. Thanks for your patience, gentlemen. So,
Yeah, no problem. But one thing we got to keep in mind, all around there is forest. So you're actually in the forest right in there.
So that's what I'm asking. Are there any like other light sources besides what's there?
That I don't want to speculate and say, you know what I'm saying? That because I don't know, because I didn't see it out there.
So I got that 3356. We're there yet? We're not there yet. So there's a red light that shows up. See if you can find it. So we're looking there. Let's make sure I got that. 35 or 36? Oh, Sorry, I wrote these notes down before the show, and
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
37, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just got my handwriting so bad. Let's see what's going on here. It'll take a while. Somewhere here, I think maybe it's 37 and 56 seconds. There's something going on. There's that light again. I think that might be a star.
Yeah, that could be a star.
What was that?
'Cause I seen it when the light was off of it.
Man, it showed up before there too. I just missed that. I don't know if you saw that. They're there, right there.
Here.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is
Now,
that?
That's straight ahead into the forest, so that wouldn't be.
Let's see if I can get that timing right. That's the one I wanted. There's like a red light that flashes, and it lasts for actually about 3 seconds. There it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's in the forest. You could tell. Look at the trees. See the tree
Yep.
in the back there? So
Yeah,
that's
it's
past the tree.
Right
There you go, right there.
Right there.
It just popped red. You see that? Nothing,
Yeah.
and it just popped red, and then it fades out.
Wow.
So what was that? That's the question. Is
Yeah,
that
what
are
was
we
that?
dealing with an orb there? Was that light shine that people talk about, or is it some kind of light? Do you have a tower there, or I don't think
See,
there.
that's-
There it just pops up. Do you see it? There was nothing
Yeah.
there. There was nothing there, and it just went red.
Red, and then it goes out,
And-
nothing. Bam. Gone.
I thought that was a pretty good find.
That was a real good find.
Yep.
See, that's the problem of having a flashlight out there at
I'm
night.
taking all the credit for it.
That's the problem with
Timestamp
having a
it.
flashlight out there at night, because your eyes adjust from that light to the dark to the light to the dark. And so you miss a lot of that. I know it's hard to understand if you're not out there and doing it.
Oh, if you plus your eye on the camera and trying to, and then the
Right. Your
ground,
eyes are always adjusting.
trying, right? It's very.
Trying not to fall, step on things, trip, hold the camera. Make sure
How about-
everybody can
have
watch
you-
around you.
Have either one of you guys done like the GoPro cameras mounted on your head type of thing? The light. It's
Too much bouncing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've mounted my my phone to like a body harness before when I film, but I still usually only have one camera on me that I can
Yeah. And then
control.
you're hearing like your shirt or, you know, your jacket going.
I want
There's
to see
always
something.
something.
I think, guys, I appreciate your patience here. I just think that like I said, I'm broken record. There's more than Bigfoot in the woods, and there it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And the red light comes after that, I think.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. Bam.
Yep.
Almost like it looked. Almost like, yeah, I don't know.
And it's up
Like
in the
opening
trees.
its eyes and then seeing the light coming back towards it or something.
It's almost like either like an orbs that I film. I film those orbs type things, and then I think 48, 41 also has the red light. There's other lights. There's other things I found. The thing is, if you have the patience and you watch these videos, you need to slow them down. That's what I discovered. You know, when
Same
you
with
see
the audio. That's same with the audio. The audio is a lot of time listening, slow motion, replay it, play it backwards sometimes.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Right there.
Bam. Seen it.
I miss it.
There again. Nope, there it was
Yeah.
twice.
There it is. Flick.
Yep. Up higher, there was a red light or red eyes. Couldn't tell.
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have? Oh, I passed it. Okay. I want to see that again because I missed some of it. There's something
Yeah,
going on in the trees.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
popped in twice.
Do you ever feel like you're a total geek?
Yeah.
I feel like doing stuff like no one else does. I mean, all right. There you go.
I'm not gonna
There you
answer
go,
that.
right there.
There was
Right
one.
there. See, wait, so there, so where? How did that? I mean, I'm just speaking out loud. Of course, I don't expect you to have the answer, but how did that happen? Right there,
Mhm.
Bam, that was really red too.
Yep.
and how it just showed up and it was gone, and there's it should stay consistent, and then right there,
Smaller one.
and it moved
Smaller
over
one.
here.
Yeah,
Flick,
right.
flick.
And I think you get the red again. No, I was wrong.
Nope, that was it. What the?
I think if you go back a little before that, you see the red more than once.
I just go.
That's strange.
There's one of those trees broke in half. What's going on with that? Was it disease? Looks like, or is it?
Some of those were just snapped. I can't wait to get back there for a night hunt with everybody.
Yeah,
There it
there's
is.
red. Yeah.
Yep, right there,
And then it goes in.
Yeah.
there,
And then there's there.
and then one down low twice.
That
Yeah.
looked reddish too. That smaller one looks reddish.
It was white. I don't know if it moved. If it's the same thing, if it's different. We could look at it again if you want. What the hell? One was mine as well, right? You guys
Yeah.
put all this time into this. Might as well see what you're freaking filming, right?
You know, that's scary.
I don't think it should be scary. How about mysterious? There it is, right there.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to do anything to
It's
you.
about 12 foot,
There,
12 feet.
and then down Bob. Bam.
Yeah, it was white.
And so it should have showed up again, but it didn't. So unless there's something that's like you guys doing with like a laser or something and tricking us, which I'm not saying it's happening, or you've just filmed what people call an orb or eye shine, but now it's red eye shine. Now here's the thing: people will say, "Oh, that means it's danger," but is it danger? Just because other people say it and people parrot the same thing over and over again, that doesn't mean it's true. Because you know what? I've filmed things with red eyes and nothing ever happened to me.
Right. I've had red eye shine like right next to us, like maybe 20 feet away.
That's right.
Most of it is, it's scary. 100% scary. You think to yourself, man, what am I doing out here?
Right. Plus, people condition us to think that means that they're angry, man. They're going to attack you, right?
Yeah.
And everyone says the same thing. No one ever challenges anything. They just go along with the program. You know what I mean?
Red's bad, blue's good.
Right.
I got to step back for a minute.
Okay, man.
I'll be
So,
right
but
back.
yeah, I had to take the dogs out myself, so don't worry about it. The thing is, that's just a saying. If you guys haven't figured out that, when you ever hear like somebody content creator say, "I gotta take the dog out," that's what they're talking about. They need to go to the bathroom. So, anyways, yeah. So yeah, I filmed things many times that look like they have red eyes. Never did anything to me. I don't know if it's just maybe it's just a refraction from the lens and with the time it's filmed, or it could be simply a amount of radiation that's being, the electromagnetic visual spectrum. It's just emitting enough energy to cause that. There's no evidence that if you see some with red eyes that you're in big trouble. It's just stories.
Yeah.
There's nothing to corroborate for that.
There's probably, I mean, if it's eye shine specifically and colorations of reflection off of eyes, there's probably lots of science behind different colors from certain conditions or certain animals, or certain kinds of eyes have different colors. I've never really looked into that. It's something that I probably should, just because there might be certain information that might be worth knowing, especially when it comes to animals. Like if there's certain kinds of animals that their color of their eye will give you a certain color reflection back, that might actually help you find something. You might know what it is by that.
Right. And just think about what we happened here. You guys filmed this, and it was very brief. You didn't know it was there, and there was no negative interaction that came from it. I just pointed that out because there's an awful lot of stuff that's been that in the Bigfoot community, because people don't challenge anything. They just, it's like a religion. It's like a cult. They're just like, so-and-so said so because they've been a Bigfooter for 20 years and somehow that's the truth. But I challenge anything. Well, when you start doing the stuff on your own, you start realizing, well, just because you see something that turns blue, red, or yellow or green, that doesn't mean there's some sign that you're in trouble. But people tell you that the complete opposite. They'll tell you that, and I'm just, it's dangerous to just blindly believe what other people say. It's just not a good idea.
Exactly.
In anything in life.
And we know, and I know what animals, what color eyes, Mike. I know what colors, if you ever need to know.
What, like deer have like green eyes, right?
Yep.
Do deers reflect green?
Yellowish green? So it is?
Yellowish.
Green. Yeah, it depends on
I've
which way
seen them.
go.
I've seen them shine, but I honestly, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
I don't see too much of a color. Like that one deer scared the living daylights out of me that one time. I remember seeing those eyes.
Yeah.
It was up on a hill right in front of me in the dark, and all I saw was the eye shine and a little outline of the deer's head, but it looked like it was about 12 or 15 feet in the air right in front of me. I almost emptied my pants or filled up my pants when I saw that because
you weren't prepared for it, right?
I wasn't prepared for that. It looked like just some dark silhouette looking. I could see the eye. It looked like it was looking up at me from 15 feet in the air right in front of me. It was just up on a high ground.
Where's the light that I say there's supposed to be a light there? I don't see the light. Anyways, yeah, I mean that's one thing. It's do it at night. There's a good chance of filming a deer, isn't it? I seem to do that consistently almost.
Yeah, but you'll know when you're filming a deer for sure.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of deer.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of deer.
Did you guys actually run into a lot of deer then? Is that something that's
I've seen a lot.
Oh yeah, we'll run into some deer.
Have you noticed in some spots there's more deer than others type of thing? And is there more like a larger animal life than say and others? Is there one that's does that make sense? There's some places that all they have is squirrels and raccoons, and other places they have a lot of deer. Is there one that's more deer dominated?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know if I've seen deer and more so in some places than others.
Yeah.
But I tell you one thing, from a distance in a daylight, some deer are really well camouflaged.
Right.
I remember like suddenly catching the face of a deer, like the ones that have the white, like two-tone faces, the bucks. I've seen some bucks that are white and brown, and they have like the white, like striped faces or big solid patches that are white and then brown on the outside. And I was looking around, and then all of a sudden I kind of, I might catch the eye, and I realize how camouflaged they are. And that's kind of like startling too, because then all of a sudden you'll see a weird looking camouflaged face looking at you. And before you realize it's a deer. And
we had deer actually come towards us because something was chasing them, something big. Remember that, Mike?
We thought they were coming to us. Like that was strange. We were like, man, these deer are just coming right up to us, but they just went running by us.
Yeah, like maybe, 35 feet away, 40 feet.
Yeah.
How many of them were there?
3.
Cool.
Yeah, we had fox come within feet of us. I mean, I had coyote that I had to shoo off that he thought I was going to be lunch or dinner or something, but he came in within feet. We had a bear.
You had a bear?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
In Eastern Ohio? Where in Eastern Ohio?
West Branch.
Oh, West Branch. Is that common now for West Branch to have? I know there's supposed to be deer in the east.
No, I believe they're letting bears stay in Ohio now.
I don't know why I'm looking at this, but of course, there's the branches, right?
Yeah,
broken
look at
up.
that. That's you thought you think that was a lot. Wait until you see the night hunt there on the inside. They're just, it's amazing. Built on purpose, broke on purpose.
Let me see that. It's not disease.
No.
Okay.
Did you know foxes barked, Mike?
They bark just like dogs.
I didn't know that until we ran into a little fox family on the tracks. I thought it was a dog.
No badgers.
I know you mean like the yelping? Like,
Well,
No,
it
they bark.
sounded like a bark. It may have been a yelp, but it was like rough.
Rough, rough.
Yep.
Rough.
really?
Yeah, I made a short. It was in my video, and I made a short out of it and put it up. But yeah,
I don't
and then the
think-
one came right up to us, followed the tracks, came right up to us a few feet away.
I'm
Was
putting
checking
one
us out.
together, and then we're going out for a night hunt.
So what does your better halves think?
That's easy for me to answer.
Are you like me? I'm a bachelor, so it just doesn't matter.
No comment.
There you go.
So is that a star up there? Is that what that is?
I'm gonna say yes. I
It
don't like speculating anything, but
It
that's
flickers
high
like a
enough to be
star. That flickers like a star.
Yeah, I mean, look how much higher it is than the trees.
And they're not turning red. And I think that's good to point that out, to see the difference between what you guys filmed as far as the light show and of course at the beginning of the show I showed that one lengthy stretched out for 7 minutes of the 6 seconds of lights, because that one is fascinating. If you really pay attention, it moves, it changes, it sometimes it actually lights up parts of the tree.
Yeah.
So that's something that if you missed, go back to the.
Now here's one for you. In that video there, in this video here, I left. There's a set of eye shine, 2 eyes, and then underneath it is another set of eye shine. Like I first thing that I thought of was a mother and a youngster. I didn't circle that in that video.
A mother and a youngster, what?
Bigfoot.
Okay.
I hate saying that because I don't want to speculate, but that's the first thing that came to my mind when I seen it. I pointed it out to Moose, and then, the one looked like it turned its head away, and then the other looked like, the tall one kept looking for a minute and then turned its head. And it wasn't like, we're looking, straight ahead at it. It was up higher. So, when you're seeing things in the distance, they go lower, so we knew, whatever it was tall.
Hello, Sharon.
Sharon, hello.
Hello, Michael Adams. Hello,
Like,
Sharon.
I got to wrap it up here.
Yes, it's time to end. We've been doing this for almost 3 hours.
Yep.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I don't know if we, it was good for me to catch up with you guys and see what new experiences you've had. So you got live tomorrow, and which you're going to reveal what again?
What the hair is.
Okay, cool. And then when's the next time you guys are going out to do some investigating?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Did they go to you? Because I didn't know they didn't go to me. You got $50 from dude.
I think that
there's going to be a video drop, and then they'll be live. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be live.
Did you guys actually get $50, or is that just saying? Am I missing something?
Victoria, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, good. She said you $50. You better thank her. It's not too often, but she said
Thank you.
$50. There you go. So, anyways, okay. So, gentlemen, I appreciate it. I don't know if I was on my game as much as I would like to be tonight, but there there was a lot of things to talk about tonight, and I think we got some idea, and that is, in the end of the day, we're still as clueless as ever what we're experiencing, but we're experiencing something, and so that's what motivates us. I think we've learned from our experience that we can't say it's one thing and the other anymore. We can't just blatantly say it's Sasquatch or Bigfoot any more than we say it's I guess people necessarily talking to us, right? We're dealing with something that is multifaceted, and it's going to take a long time to figure out. I hope you guys continue to do it. I hope you guys keep on and staying in contact with me. I know for me, I plan on getting going. I'm sick. I'm starting to really get cabin fever, man. This weekend was miserable, and there's no way I was going to go out.
Why don't you plan a time to come down and see us here?
I can see it, but you remember I got MS, so I can't go tromp in the woods with you.
Well,
I can hang in the edge.
Yeah, you can fly a drone.
You can hang an edge, and we can walk you through some of these areas. I would love for you to go to Claim 3. You know, you can hang that edge, and
let's talk about it. Let's make a time.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
So how much it would cost? And this is all in eastern, like around Kent, that area. Right?
You're in Ohio, right?
I'm in I'm in just west. I'm on the border of Michigan, just west of Toledo.
Oh, so you're only
3 hours.
The other side of the state. It'd take me to turn back maybe 2.5 hours to get to
maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, not that far.
I wouldn't mind doing it. I wouldn't mind doing it.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
At the end, it's just like, Mike, we're just going to leave you right here while we do everything, and you just watch the periphery. You know, I'd be more happy. I do this alone anyway, so I'll just be happy being alone. You know what I mean?
We give you a walkie.
You know, like Mike did the experience where he was alone, and it was freaky, wasn't it? But you survived it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
You know what I'm saying? So what my point is that I think that's one of the things I want to do more this year, is to spend more nighttime investigating alone. Pretty much just being alone, but in the woods, or on the edge of the woods. I don't know why. I just have that drive that this is the year to do more of that. So
That'd be great.
I think part of it is because I want to see. I don't know. You hear this stuff about angels, right? I don't know if it's true or not, but I sure wouldn't mind like seeing something that they call an angel. You know what I mean? Some brilliant, bright being show up, and you know what I mean. I think that would be like the pinnacle of things, you know, to see. I've seen UFOs, I've seen Sasquatch, I've seen orbs, I've seen ghosts. I think the coolest thing is actually maybe to see something they call angelic. Something.
I think I heard one. I'll have to let you hear it. It was a strange coincidence. I heard the same, sounded like what you'd imagine an angelic sound would be. I captured the same sound 2 different times at 2 different places. I'll have to send that to you and let you hear it and tell me what you think.
Yeah, if you guys are serious about it, we'll set a time and day to do it. You know what I mean? It'd probably be my last time actually, most realistically, doing any kind of field research with anybody. Because of the MS, you know what I mean? My years of numbers for even doing this, I got maybe 1 or 2 years left on it. Yeah. And then it just got to just maintain.
Well,
unless things change. There's
only so long that we could do this, you know.
I'm supposed to get, I don't know when it's going to show up. I got that athletic wheelchair, right? It's one of those wheelchairs that you use to play basketball, right? It's like designed so that if you fall or you can get yourself up and spin and do all sorts of things. So that's what I'm hoping to start using more as far as when I go out there on trails and stuff like that. It all sounds pathetic, but after a while you get sick of the walker anyways. So, and I have an electric wheelchair, but I don't want to use it. I want to get some exercise, and I want to get closer to the environment, the nature, and these beings.
Come on out.
Yeah,
I'll do it. It'd be great. It'd really be great.
So I got to start my own research, and so we'll check you out tomorrow night. We'll see what happens with.
All right.
Please, everyone, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channels, all 3 of our channels.
Yeah, well, they're more important than I am, so make sure they get subscribed. No, seriously,
No
I
one's
mean,
more important. We're all here for the same reason.
you guys have wanted to carry the torch for a while until the next group figure out that they got to do a little more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're an important element. You're an important group, and if anybody's giving you a hard time, it's just jealousy.
Yeah, we
Think
don't
there's
listen to
jealousy.
outside noise.
I know they're jealous. I mean, listen, everyone's jealous. You dig down, so I guarantee you, there's tons of guys just because you know why? You're doing this. You're working together, and you're going out on a regular basis, and you're still liking each other, and you haven't, taken each other out. And in the Bigfoot community, that's very difficult to find, and they know that, and that's why they're upset.
I love all the guys, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for this community. It's a blessing for MT. It's a blessing for Trapper. It's a blessing for you. I love you all, man.
Yes, it's very positive. And with that, I'm going to end it with some music, gentlemen. If you want to stick around, that's okay. If you don't, thank you for the evening.
Good night.
Good luck with your, not only good luck, have great success in your research and your experiences. And so don't give up. You're on the right track now. With that, let's do.
You keep going. Don't stop what you're doing, O.R.D.
I'm not. Nothing's going to stop me until it's time.
We'll be back.
We'll
be back.
We see what's
We'll
going
be back on your show.
Absolutely.
Talking about our big find.
That'd be awesome. Mark set. It sure does look like an eye to me. Anyways, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you once again to Jack and to Mike for sharing their insights. I think they're on the right track. I think more people should try to do their approach if they can. It's not an easy task to get a bunch of people together and to do what they do. So I think that's pretty awesome myself. Sure does look like an eye. I mean, for me, it looks, maybe you can't see it, but it sure, that looks like a freaking eye looking at them. That's what they filmed. Let's see what else. This weird thing they had right here. It's almost like a, I don't know if there's a branch. I think there's a branch that's in its way. But what's weird about it is that it's like a streak. There's like a branch in front of it, but that's like, it's like a line of light. A line of light. To get a chance to talk about that. And then once again, they did film something staring at them. I don't know if you can see it very well. You probably can't. It's all distorted. But right there is the two dots. And in the video, the intro video, if you pay attention to watch it again, and the music's cool too, you can see that there is something there, the two dots. So with that, anyways, more channels should follow these steps. I agree with you, Sir Jack. That was an excellent show. Thank you for your time. And yeah, what else was I say? For closing remarks, that was a good show. That was a good, informative. Those who have ears to hear, yeah, I think it was, you bet, man. Those who have ears to hear, they should listen to what we're at least read between the lines. We're dealing with something that's multifaceted, just like you find in the UFO community, and then also in paranormal. So we're dealing with something, but it's real. It's absolutely real. And what that is still the great quest. And I think we've directed our attention to a more holistic approach to what's going on in the woods. Not to be so afraid of it as well, that we might be all right. We might actually find mysteries of this universe that we don't realize there. So, there's mysteries out there in the woods. There really is. And there's things that look like Bigfoot and things that don't. Like behind me, there's one of the people right behind a tree that I filmed. And then there's one right here. If you look, this is like one of those things they call wendigos that I filmed. And then there's another guy right there. Let me see. You probably can't see it. Anyways, one peeping. That's the one that's close to a teepee structure. And the thing is, I didn't go deep in the woods to have this to get this done. So my encouragement with to everyone else is don't be discouraged just because you might not be able to do what others can do. Doesn't mean you still can't do. You know what I mean? You still can do research even if you have limitations like I have now. So, in fact, I discovered actually limitations became assets because I adapted. So, and I'm able to film things on the edge of the woods. So, with what I'm doing, what those guys are doing inside the woods at night, if we have multi-faceted approach, maybe the only time you can do any kind of research is 6 a.m. Why not do it? Or how about on it's a Saturday? It's the only time you ever have a chance to do it. Why not do it? Why not go out there and find out, start looking, start peering into the trees and paying attention to what's going on in the trees in the woods. Believe in yourself, believe that you can actually film some stuff. And I'd be very surprised if you didn't. I don't care where you're at. I think that's one of the more important things to find out. There's a lot of strangeness in our part of the country, in Ohio, around Lake Erie and the Ohio River and etc. There's a lot of things going on all over the place. I don't think it matters where you're at. In fact, it might be interesting to find out if there's different entities in different locations. if that makes any sense. Geographically, and maybe it has something to do with the topography, and maybe it has something to do with multiple facets, right? You know, a lot of the things that we've learned from the people prior to us, whether it's the John A. Keels of the world, or the Ivan Sandersons, or etc., is that one thing that they taught us is that there's more going on in the woods than meets the eyes. There's more going on around this world than meets the eyes. And just because we end up finding something that doesn't conform with what the mainstream narratives are, doesn't mean they're not real. And maybe we should, I think it's a great way to challenge yourself and to challenge the institutions around you, the different driving forces that tell us this is the way it has to be. It doesn't have to be the way they say it is. In fact, if the more we discover these truths, we start to realize there's a hell of a lot more going on than meets the eye, and that conforming to groupthink is a dangerous thing when it comes to this stuff. Just because somebody says there's red, you see red eye shine, doesn't mean you're in trouble. Just because they say it doesn't mean so. And I've known this firsthand. And those guys are still around, and they film stuff that's for red eye. So it's just a point. It's just one of many, many things are out there in the Bigfoot community and in the cryptid community, where people just parrot whatever everybody else says instead of find out for yourself. And you're capable of doing it. I can prove it. It doesn't matter if you're in best health. It doesn't matter where you're at. You don't have to live in the most virgins of forests, and you don't have to be as lucky as my friend JT and LT and the squash gang up there in British Columbia and have the most beautiful, pristine, forest that you can imagine. You can be in a patch of woods near you. And there's a good chance in your own neighborhood you can film something. If there's some trees or there's other things involved, even if you don't have trees. I have my friend, brown dwarf. He's in LA. He's in the city, basically. Just on the edge, he's in the city. And he's filming stuff in the sky. And it's time when he takes a break, he goes out from where he works and he films stuff. So my point is that we can do this anywhere, anytime if we want to. And you don't necessarily have the best camera in the world or the best of everything. You don't even have to necessarily be doing what we're doing or what I'm doing with Jack and Mike and Moose and Trapper doing the crew. You can do your own thing, right? In fact, I encourage you to do your own thing, because by you doing your own thing, that helps build the data if we share it with each other, right? So maybe you're going to do it only when you're on horseback. I don't know. Maybe you think out how you're going to do it. I mean, it's just I'm not saying there's no particular way to do this, except to do it, to get out there and to film and start studying the film. That's the one dark side of all this. The fun part is going out in the woods and having an experience. The hard part, the dark side, is to spend hours analyzing the imagery and the film that you filmed and to see if there's anything in there. And a lot of times, you're going to be disappointed. But other times, you're going to be just the right place, the right time, wherever that means, and you're going to end up filming something. And then it's up to you to come to terms with it. It will be difficult for you, I can guarantee you. At times, you're going to see something and you go, that can't be. There's no way it can be. And all the stories that you were told about this thing or the other thing. Like, I went to film that Wendigo that you're looking at last spring, and I'm still alive. So, and they always say the Wendigo is about death, and it's used in the wintertime. Well, I filmed in the spring. So there you go. I mean, it's just a classic example that you just can't blindly believe what other people say. You need to go find out for yourself if you really want to know if this is true or not. And I think it'd be great. I think if everyone did it, the best that you can, you know what I mean? If anything, you're going to face some irrational fears, and you're going to realize that you're still alive and you're still existing and you're still surviving. And so, because I think part of the big problem is too, there's an awful lot of scary storytelling, right? And we enjoy it. It's entertaining, but it's not necessarily reality. Entertaining might have some truth in it, right? Just like a good joke, right? I mean, that doesn't mean that what you're hearing is the absolute utter truth about the circumstance or situation, right? And so, once again, go out there and do it. Just do it. If If you don't got the money, don't waste money you don't have. But you know what? You still even if you don't even have a camera. Let's say you just were just going to just do it. Just go out there and observe, do field research on your own with your own two eyes. If you still have good legs and the good limbs and all that, go ahead and do it. Go on the edge of the woods. Go face your fears. Realize, you might actually find some humanity in yourself that maybe you've been missing. Because I think when you're connected with the creation, it's very healthy for you. I think it makes you a different person somehow. I think it brings you, at least if anything, a little sense of reality. You know what I mean? And reality is not necessarily a bad thing. So that's my sermon for now. I'm out. I don't know. Should I play another song before I'm out? I love the music of the song. I'll play one more song just for what I heard. Let's play the New Fallen Empire. Let's see. Yeah, this is kind of a cool song to chill out on.
silence, and the dream is calm.